Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. And compassionate said, ZB on that Haitian people time. I am. I can't even say. I can't even disagree. I can't even disagree. I can't even say anything wrong. I can't. Even, I don't even have a response to that except you're right. You're right. Right. I'm here. I am here. Oh man. Ooh. Did I call it or did I call it? Did I call it or did I call it? Hi, Chrissy. Hi, Paris. Hi, Yanni. Hi, Shira7. Hi, Princella. Uh-oh. Huh? Hi, Lexus Exodus. Huh? Did I call it or did I call it? Right? So, for those of you that checked out the TYT clip, it is in the description. Shout out to the brother Obsidian. So this got past me. I am subscribed to TYT. You already know, resident lefty here. This got past me. I did not know that TYT covered Shira 7, right? For those of you that don't know, TYT, the Young Turks, Sank Uger, it's him, and I think a brother who are owners in ownership of that channel. And then they have JR, who's been there since the beginning, and Anna Kasparian, who's been there since the beginning. And this was Sank and Anna Kasparian speaking on these relationship and dating advice videos on TikTok concerning women. Let's say that again. And they're covering a Vox, and we might come up with a part 2 later on tonight. Let's see. As I find the article, I try to read the article, the Vox article. Yeah, we this video might have a part 2 to it. Yeah. So so TYT is covering the Vox article, which expressly looked at what women were saying to other women as dating advice, right? So let's first call a thing. Dear women of color, did I call it or did I call it? Yes, Anna is not white. What is Anna? Armenian? Right? What is Anna's background? I know somebody in here no. But Anna's white, but she's not white, right? She's not wasp white. Notice I said it. White women are making the U-turn. Your average white woman's like, wait, we ain't those black women. We not them. So white women are throwing women of color under the bus. Why is Mr. Z saying women of color? Because they mentioned Shira 7, and they also mentioned the Middle Eastern woman that's also making her rounds. She's more on the conservative bent, and she's giving her advice. What is her name? I forgot her name, but she's kind of making her rounds, right? They also mentioned that these women have degrees. And that they claim to be experts, and some of them actually have degrees. Ooh. Did I call it or did I call it? Look, Mr. Z is like first. There's a reason. I know. And y'all could continue doing this, but I know that a lot of the brothers and even Toya and some of the sisters get annoyed when I kind of play down myself in these conversations, and I'm doing that on purpose to say I am not a degreed or lettered individual. I am a community college dropout. If I see it, if I can put two and two together with the type of research I do, which more than often is shallow, right? This quote unquote deep dive. Most people ain't doing deep dives. It's very interesting when people say, "Oh, I did a deep dive." Which you search something on the internet for like 30 minutes, you ain't doing no goddamn deep dive, right? So, as a community college dropout, if I can look at the information I do have, right, of human history, global events, wars, famines, a dip in the economy, et cetera, the dynamics between men and women throughout human history, all of these things. If I can take all of these things and I can see where we are, right, in the 21st century as men and women and the dynamics that are coming about, and I can say, you know what, something about this isn't going to turn out well. If I can do that, then there is no way that people with advanced degrees, like a Khadijah, like a FD Signifier, right, like a Julesy, people that graduated from Ivies, right, like a Kim Foster, there's no way people with marketing degrees, like a Chrissy. There is no way that Mr. Z sees this and they don't see it. That is why I know Chrissy is full of crap, because as a degreed woman, supposedly with a marketing degree, she know this white man chase thing ain't gonna work for most black women, including the swirlers that she's talking to. She know, right? Kim Foster knew that this, I ain't going to no protest for no black men because they'll show up the way I want them. She know that that's a bunch of crap, and what you're really doing is telling black women to stick their middle finger up at black men's dead bodies. Huh? Khadijah knows that most black women don't want none of these limp-wristed ass black men. This whole queer your relationship, hetero pessimism crap. Yeah, black women will talk a whole lot of crap. They'll threaten to end up with white dudes, and a couple of them will. But this queer your relationships, the second something go bump in the night, ain't nobody hearing that no more. When it's time to kill that roach in the kitchen, ain't nobody hearing that no more. Queer your relationships. Yawn. Black women will talk of that crap until something goes bump in the night, until they think they saw something crawl across the floor. Huh? Yeah, that sound nice. So look at Anna Kasparian doing white women's dirty work and saying, yeah, these, and whoever wrote the Vox article, yeah, these women on TikTok, so let's say social media, right? Let's just say social media. These women on social media with this quote unquote relationship advice, yeah, nope. Sounded delusional. Notice Mr. Z doesn't say Delulu because Delulu sounds cute and it doesn't hit as hard as it need to hit. No, delusional. Delulu sounds too euphemistic. It takes the sting out of it. Call it what it is. Call them for what they are. Delusional black women. Right? Huh? So the Young Turks is calling out Shira 7. Like, first, let's say when Mr. Z said, what, a couple years ago at this point, on my channel, and I'm pretty sure I said it before I started my own channel, I said it, but the time where I think I made it that clear was with Asia Maynard's untimely passing, right? And from my understanding, we still don't really know what happened. What did I say with Asia Maynard's passing? Black women, y'all being too loud. Huh? Chrissy, I said black women were being too loud. You kept on going. Yanni kept on going. Paris kept on going. Eve chose better. Kintaji chose better. Serena chose better. Uh-huh. So if these people are researching Shira 7, notice they ain't touch on nothing Shira 7 said about black men and swirling and divesting. You notice that? Huh? Uh-oh. They hear y'all, they're ignoring that part for now. Or they got plans for y'all. There is a reason why Joe Biden mentioned those interracial commercials a couple of years ago when he met with the quote unquote black civil rights leaders. I said it then. Shout out to the Raj Report. Shout out to Black Uru. Shout out to BGS. Shout out to Charles Faulkner Jr. Everybody remember hearing Z say, did y'all hear Biden say this? Y'all heard him just shoehorn that in when he was chastising and verbally disciplining the quote unquote civil rights leaders. Huh? Why did he just shoehorn that in? Yeah, you know, these interracial commercials. Or did he say biracial? Either way. Huh? And G says, Look through the comments. Nothing but black women saying she's hating, and everybody wants black women to stay on the bottom. This, notice, when was it? And even Chrissy spoke to that with the what's her face, the country singer and Travis Kelsey, right? Let's call a thing a thing. Black women, y'all are being so goddamn loud. Listen, white men and white women, yeah, they going through their own kind of mini civil war too. Yeah, they going through it too, right? I honestly think white men and white women are really the ones beefing, and they're using black people as the rock'em sock'em robots. We tearing each other head off for white folks, to be honest with you. That is one thing that FD was. I kind of agree with him on that one. I kind of agree with him on that one, to be honest with you, right? But and going to what G said, look, black women, y'all are so delusional that didn't I say that like a few weeks ago too? White women gonna be like, whose man's is this? Huh? They put the battery in y'all back. Now y'all walking around with a blowhorn talking about men are not on your level, struggle love, I ain't doing 50-50, etc., etc. And Anna Kasparian is showing you, whoever wrote that Vox article, I think it was a woman, right? Is showing you, yo, whose man's is this? We not riding with this. And they throwing women of color. That's white women throwing women of color in general under the bus, specifically black women. Huh? Huh? Wow. I said it. They put the battery in y'all back. They gave y'all the blowhorn to talk crap about black men. Then y'all started praying, PREY, preying on white men, talking that swirl and divester stuff. I said it before. Look, everybody hear what you really saying. Hey, black women, screw black men. F them. We need to go find us a naive, dumb, lame, square white dude with some money, put this vagina on him, and get him to spend resources on us. Everybody understood what you were actually saying. See, what you thought you were saying, or what you thought other people were hearing, is no. But these non-black men are real men. They know how to take care of women and pay for women. And when everybody else heard is, oh yeah, these non-black men really don't understand the game that much. They green to the game. They're naive to the game. They're naive to women. They definitely naive to black women. And what we're gonna do is put this vagina on them and do tricks in the bedroom. And then we're gonna catch us a Brad or a Lee or Carlos or Ahmed. Then we can really stick our middle finger up to black men as we walk out the door with these other men and these mixed children, these biracial children. And what really happened is that everybody really heard what you were saying. And now they like, whose man's is this? Don't worry, soon Latinas and Asian women are going to start throwing black women under the bus too. Soon that's what it's going to be. Huh? Y'all are way too loud. Chrissy trying to pivot now. Nah, too late. Yanny's trying to pivot now. Nope, too late. All that decenter men crap. Oh no, I'm talking about decentering men. You're talking about decentering men, Yanny. Because your homegirls are spending, in your mind, an inordinate amount of time with their men. They're in relationships. They have children, and you feel lonely. You got all this money. You done apparently should have moved into a new condo or apartment or something like that. Nice ass views. That's beautiful. Ain't no man in there though. Now you talking about decenter men. That's not what you were saying 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, huh? It was all type of really slick, right? Sassy ass ways. Y'all done seen Yanni and her facial expressions. Sassy ass ways of sticking your middle finger up to black men, huh? Let me get this right. So y'all thought that the alphabet boys and these investigative reporters and all of these people were going to peer and look at what the men are doing and look over the manosphere, the black manosphere, what they're saying and what they're doing, and then you thought y'all were gonna go what, unscathed? No one's gonna investigate what y'all are on? How insane y'all sound? Huh? So when the Rolling Stone interview Paris Milan and when whoever it was speaks to Lexus Exodus after she called y'all, the fact that y'all thought Lexus Exodus would barely has 30,000 subscribers, if even, y'all thought y'all could go at Beyonce's mom. Beyonce. You thought you could call Beyonce's mother a mammy and it would eventually bite you or other black women in the ass? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You thought you could call Tina Knowles, Beyonce, arguably what, the biggest star of the 21st century? Definitely within the top 5, top 10 biggest stars, biggest English speaking stars of the 21st century. You thought you could go at her mother, call her mother, Beyonce's mom, a mammy, for putting out a documentary pretty much saying black men aren't the worst thing in the world and maybe we should stop preying on them and stop, over policing them. You thought you could do that, Lexus Exodus, and eventually the powers that be wouldn't send their media apparatus to snoop in and see what the hell black women are talking about? Now let's pause right here. Brother FD, how is it that Mr. Z was speaking about Shira 7? This is a black woman. TYT is speaking about Shira 7. You are a black man in Atlanta and you didn't know who Shira 7 is? You all over social media. What the hell? Y'all be so hyper focused on putting your foot in black men's collective asses that y'all just let white women, wow, Mr. Z, look at the Freudian slip. Black women, y'all just let black women just run around here doing and saying all type of foolishness. So the white folks picked up on it and FD didn't even know who Shira 7 is. Or did he know and pretend like he didn't? Did he know and pretend like he did not? So let me get this right. It was a white woman who took Cynthia G's head off. And now it's white people who are now reporting on these weirdo women, really women of color. They throw women of color under the bus here. Black women specifically. It's white women mainly throwing women of color, black women, under the bus with these relationship quote unquote advice channels and pages all across social media. Huh. Uh-oh. Huh. So all this talk of not not really, criticizing or critiquing black women and their behavior because you don't think that's what you should be doing. Fine, FD signifier, fine. Fine to all those black men over there. Where are the women to do it? Y'all got white women understand what Mr. Z is saying. White women. The women that put the battery in y'all back? Huh? You have white women now. This is the second time now, at least on a major level, this is the second time in our face. And this is the second time in the span of a couple months? When I told y'all was being too loud. Within 2 months, that's Cynthia G, that's Shira 7. Chrissy, how long before it's you? Yanni done piped down. Yanni done switched up. Her content wasn't always about men anyway, but still. Yanni, how long before it's you? Paris done got real quiet. At least either she's putting a bunch of stuff on Patreon, she done deleted a bunch of old stuff. She been deleting stuff. Huh? Ever since she got married to the Nigerian cat. And she got bussed out for it. Look at that. Paris was talking all that Naker stuff. All that black men ain't ish stuff that made her a ballerific Nigerian. And now she barely and rarely put out content. Huh. So you have white women who took down Cynthia G, and now white women calling out Shira 7. Princella, how long before it's you? Yeah, you wanna blame all men. All women are naive. White women are about to trip your ass and put you in the trunk. White women are like, whose man's is this? Huh? Embarrassing. Embarrassing. I said a couple of years ago, y'all being too loud. Y'all being extremely loud. Really loud. Wait, y'all thought y'all could dance on Kobe Bryant's grave because he didn't marry a black woman and that was going to be okay? You thought you could go at whatever her face. How did I forget the homegirl face again? The country singer. Forgot her name. Face right there. Right? Taylor Swift. There we go. Taylor Swift. Mr. Z, remember. Taylor Swift. You thought you could go at Taylor Swift. Let's recount the Taylor Swift story. Travis Kelce gets seen with Taylor Swift. All the black women that were rooting for what's her name, Nicole, um and Travis Kelce to either get back together or whatever, start going in on Taylor Swift. They start talking about Taylor Swift like she's a dog. Like Travis Kelce downgraded. White little girls and white women descend on black women and rip all of these women to shreds. Y'all got beat by a bunch of 13-year-olds, at least on social media. You thought y'all could go at Taylor Swift and eventually people wouldn't be like, wait a minute, who are these people? Who are these people that's calling Tina Knowles a mammy? Who are these people going at Taylor Swift? Who are these people dancing on Kobe Bryant's grave? Who are these people that were dancing on Kevin Samuel's grave, even if they didn't like him? Who are these people? Who are these people talking about aborting black male babies? Who are these people talking about preying on white men or Latino men or Asian men because black men are horrible and they're horrible fathers and horrible boyfriends and they're secretly gay and they don't earn enough and 50-50 for who and no struggle love? Who are these people? The internet is for everyone, y'all. Everyone. You don't need, 25%, 15%, 30%, 50% of your subscribers to be white. All you need is one or two random white folks every once in a while to fall on your channel, and you don't know what the outcome's going to be. All you need is one or two random white folks to read your comments on Twitter, watch your videos and your little skits on TikTok or on Instagram or on a YouTube short before they start stringing along. Oh, these black women keep on talking about how horrible black men are and how to prey on white men. Right? Yeah, Anna's white excuse me, Anna's husband is Hispanic. Anna's husband is Hispanic, right? She talks about it all the time, actually. I said it before. Y'all are so out of touch. Y'all are so delusional. That's why I keep on bringing up what I said during and after COVID-19. We're in the middle of Armageddon, and black women calling into Kevin Samuel's show talking about what they not going to settle for. Who want to be with that anyway? Men not being on their level. You really forget how much, even those statements right there, you're jabbing at white women. You don't think you jabbing at white women. You're jabbing at white women. The white women that married him, a little 45, 50, 55, $60,000 a year white man, you don't think you sneak dissing them. You're sneak dissing them. Yeah, they might not make more than you, but guess what? They have more power and influence than you. Their cousin works for the State Department. Oops. Their cousin is a mayor. Their cousin is police chief. Their cousin works for CNN. Their sister works for Fox News. The brother is media analyst at such and such. Huh? See, Chrissy, when you mock all of those white women who have their wedding rings and are gonna get married soon, and you're like, what did she say? I have it recorded somewhere on my recorder. You're mocking these white women who are gonna be teachers, and you're like, oh, they're not gonna make no real money. And look at those wedding rings, and who's jealous of that? Why you're jealous? Chrissy, all you need is one or two white women. You don't know who's listening, Chrissy. How many views did that video that you did it get tens of thousands of views? All you need is a couple dozen of white women. You don't know which white women is who. You didn't know if you mocked or made fun of the same white women. You don't know. Right? And you're mocking these women in their future husbands, their fiancés, because you are saying, "Who? Yeah, look at those rings." When I said y'all being too loud, y'all realize y'all jabbing out white women for building with white men. Y'all are mocking white women. See, you didn't think you were doing that while you were mocking black men. Right? What you don't realize is white women and Latina women see what you're doing low key as a sneak diss. Yeah, you going at black men, but there's a lot of white men who are similarly situated to those black men you're making fun of, and those white men are married, and so you're jabbing at those white men's wives who might be listening to you. Shira 7, when you follow her story, white women feel a certain way that this sassy ass black woman took a white man off the market that they might feel should have been with them anyway. Not off of no love stuff, not off of no, romantic comedy, romance, and we just fell in love, and I looked into her brown eyes, and nope, nope, nope. You preyed on him. You waited your turn. You outmaneuvered the other side chick. Let me be very clear. No one likes a conniving, calculated woman, even other women. You could call it sexist all you want. I'm not putting a moral claim to it. No one likes a cold, calculated, conniving woman. Definitely not a black woman. You could call it racist all you want. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying as the world is currently constituted, Yeah, but men get to do it, whatever. Nobody likes no cold, calculated, conniving ass woman. Definitely not no black woman. And a whole lot of y'all, because y'all were jabbing at black men and being so loud about it, you didn't realize or you didn't care that what you sounded like to non-black people is like you're preying on their sons. You're preying on Hector. You're preying on Brad. You're preying on Lee. You're preying on Ahmed. They didn't want you to end up with their sons anyway, but definitely not if you were preying on him. Chrissy, Yanni, Paris, Shira 7, Princella, Jesus Christ, Mr. Z, Divested Zealot, Divested Witch, right? And all the other women with the smaller channels, Lexus, Exodus, Mahogany Pink, etc., etc. Let's say it again. These women, these white men, Latino men, Asian men, their mothers didn't want you to end up with them. Chrissy, you know that intimately. Shout out to the Filipino dude. Their mothers don't want you to end up with them. Their aunts don't want you to end up with them. Their sisters don't want you to end up with them. Their girl cousins don't want you to end up with them. And then y'all turn around and make your case even worse by being so goddamn loud on the internet about how you're preying on these men. And you think you're doing yourself a solid by speaking negatively about black men. That's why I said it before. None of y'all be talking about love or romance or any of that. Y'all always sound like a white, hyper-capitalist, neoliberal white man. In other words, it's the lifestyle. It's the money. It's the cars in the house. It's to show off. It's to show off to the cute light-skinned chick from high school, your cute light-skinned cousin that grandma might have treated better. To show off to the dark-skinned brother that didn't find you attractive in high school. To the frat bros, to the black frat bros that didn't find you attractive in college or that weren't trying to get at you in college. To the black athletes that weren't speaking to you in college. You want the white dude so you could show him off to those people. Huh? And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Mr. Shook to you says, wonder what the white women tell their sons about B dubs. I said it before. Shout out to Rogish if he remembers. If he's out there, Leon might remember me saying this. You know what they tell their sons about black women? Yeah, you could do what you want to do with her. But if you marry her, you're not getting this house. If you marry her, you're not getting your uncle's classic Corvette. If you marry her, you're not getting your uncle's classic Mustang. Huh? If you marry her, we're writing you out the will. Huh? If you doubt me, there is a video from years ago, 5, 6 years ago, maybe, yeah, something like that, 4, 5, 6 years ago, maybe even 7 years ago, where Tariq Nasheed is covering a story of no, it couldn't be that long because it was during COVID. No, that's a lie. This was 3 years ago because it was during COVID, and Tariq Nasheed is covering a portion of a story on one of his streams of a black woman, young sister in Canada who quarantined with her white boyfriend, and you know the family, the mother and the father smiling all in her face, and they had dinner together and everything's fine and dandy, right? Remember, quarantine happens, everybody go home, including college students, everybody goes home. She went to go quarantine with her white boyfriend at his family's house. Once again, they eat dinner, family smiling all in her face or whatever. She's upstairs with the boyfriend. Boyfriend asks her to go downstairs to go get the phone charger for him. She sneaks downstairs and overhears the mother and the father saying, I don't know what he's doing with her. He better don't try to marry her. Right after they were smiling all in her face. Huh? Right after they were smiling all in her face. We already know what white women and Latina women and Asian women say about black women behind their back. Ask Amora La Negra. That's a dark-skinned, chocolate, Latina black woman. And she told you her own her mom's friends and associates were saying, yeah, you need a white dude. You need to brighten up your lineage. So if they're telling her that, what you think they tell the boys? In Latin America, they have a Mejor La Raza. It's interesting to listen to Chrissy speak about colorism like it's a black American thing, and like everyone else isn't exponentially worse when it comes to the colorism. Exactly. Smile in your face, the backstabbers, right? 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 Huh. We know what they say. And shout out to Mr. Shook to you once again for the super chat. We know what they say about black women. They let their sons have fun with you. Didn't I say? Didn't we? Who used to date a black woman? Didn't Paul Ryan used to date a black woman? Huh? Way back when? You'll be surprised which one of these white dudes used to quote unquote date a black woman or a couple of black women. Now they with a white woman. You would never know they used to date a black woman. Look at Kid Rock. We already mentioned Machine Gun Kelly. Look at Kid Rock. Kid Rock is racist as all get out. Got a whole mixed black son. Huh? Machine Gun Kelly got a black baby mama. Ever since he made it, he ain't touched nothing black since. Kevin Federline. Thank you. Thank you, Ismail. Kevin Federline. So, as I was saying, black women, y'all being too loud. And it's too late. Eminem's another one, right? Excuse me, y'all. Eminem's another one. Jake said Travis Kelsey, cough, cough. Right? So it's very clear what this is. Y'all are being too loud, and now white women are throwing y'all under the bus. Whose man's is this? What did you expect? What did y'all expect? And as I said before, FD, I told you about Shira 7, sprinkle, sprinkle. And TYT goes on to say that this thing is so big now, it's so, pause. Somewhere is Cameron, right? This thing is it's so pervasive now. There we go. Haha, fixed it. That some of these relationship books that are a couple of decades old are now back on the bestsellers list, right? Somewhere that's crazy. Like 20-year-old, 30-year-old relationship books are now back on the bestsellers list because women are bringing them back onto the bestsellers list. Thank you, Trail. Ubiquitous, yeah, right? Huh. Women are the cause of that. So I said this before, instead of women in general, and well, honestly, we can't even say women in general. In this one, it kind of is black women. Instead of black women pausing for a second and being like, okay, let's look at what's going on in this country politically and economically, and how that's having a strain on black men specifically, right? On our marriage and dating prospects with black men specifically, and how that might even affect our marriage prospects and dating prospects with non-black men, but with black men specifically. Instead of many black women doing that, they would much rather throw black men under the bus, insult black men in comparison and in relationship to non-black men, right? And you get where we are now, right? Where black women are out here left holding the bag, talking crap about black men so much that non-black women are coming at black women. We're not even going to mention all the Asian women and Latina women that feel a certain way about y'all going at the passport bros and insulting these women to go at the passport bros. We're not even going to talk about the Asian women who are degreed up that feel a certain way about how you were insulting them while going after the passport bros. We're not even going to mention that. We're not even going to mention the Latinas that feel a certain way about it too. How y'all were calling them all type of dirty foot and whatever. We're not even going to mention that. Mr. Z, you're mentioning it. I know. Huh? We're not even going to mention that part. Huh. Look at how y'all were going at these women. Look at how you preying on their sons. You think they don't feel a certain way? If you listen to Chrissy, if you listen to Paris or Yanni or Lexus Exodus or when you listen to how they speak about black men in relationship to these non-black men, all you hear is them preying on these men. If you listen to even some of these, smaller, like I covered the little mixed looking light skinned Caribbean chick the other day, right? Listen to how she spoke about black men, insulting black men by omission. In other words, not saying black men's name necessarily, but it was very clear that she was speaking about black men. The story, or not even the story, the video that what is the name of the light skinned mixed African younger sister? She's conservative, right? I forgot her name. The light skinned conservative chick, the almost wannabe Candace Owens. When she was covering the other light skinned black chick that was in the car speaking about her struggles dating and how pretty much sneak dissing black men, right? Huh. Amala. I think that's who I'm speaking about. Right? She has the African last name. Right? Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's her. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Right? And she was covering a story of a woman talking about the struggle while you see the baby seat or the baby in the back, the struggle of dating as a black woman, dating these black men, and how they're not on the level. Y'all, y'all are being so loud. What did you think was gonna happen? So now they going at Shira 7 because Shira 7 is doing numbers on TikTok. Shira 7 is doing numbers, and as I reminded, and as I said to FD signifier, A brother was randomly interviewing women about relationships and what type of man you're looking for. You know, when they just post up in a, you know, congested area or a high traffic area, speaking to different people about whatever, and they have their little microphones in their hand. And when the three black women, and when one of them said "sprinkle, sprinkle," that lets you know how ubiquitous this thing is. Shout out to Terrell, right? How pervasive this language, this internet discourse rhetoric is when it comes to women in general, but black women specifically. Yeah, the guy on the street segments. Thank you, guy on the street segments, right? And to have randomly, remember, he's not going after a. Have you ever heard of Shir 7? Have you ever heard of Shir 7? No, randomly. And what did Anna say? This relationship advice is horrible. Now, let me correct, and Anna knows better. She's a woman, she knows better. Look, Anna does the whole, essentially like, I would rather buy my own nice stuff and et cetera, et cetera. Pause right there. First of all, that's because you're making good money, Anna, right? You low key famous because of TYT, so there's that also. Plus, I think her husband is retired baseball. I don't think he ever made it to the major leagues, but he was kind of like, did baseball and whatever, right? That's number two. But number three, isn't it annoying when women pretend like they don't know how other women are? And they do it in front of men like we don't know they lying? Let me say it very clearly just in case, especially for the lefties. Oh my God. Let's say it, Mr. Z. Women would much rather brag. Let's say it again. Women would much rather brag about what a man got them than what they got themselves. Oh my God. If it's an expensive bag, if it's a car, if it's some expensive shoes, furniture, women would much rather brag about what a man got them than what they got themselves. The top trump isn't what you bought yourself. The top trump card is what a man bought you. Jesus Christ. I'm a man and I know that. Anna, could you stop pretending like you don't know that? Ooh, girl, I bought myself some $1,500 red bottoms. Oh, my man bought mine. Check and mate. To hear Anna do lefties swear, it's like they live in an alternate universe. I promise you, it's like either they don't know, which, let's be honest, they do know, or they do know and they're pretending like they don't know. To hear Anna say that, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, maybe this is a non-black woman thing. No, it's not just a non-black woman thing. Talking about what you got nobody care about what you bought yourself. Thank you, Trell. Woman flex equals get him them to pay for it. Right? These kind of lefty or leftist, you know, thinkers and talkers and tastemakers and commentators, whenever we get into the conversation of relationship dynamics, they just act so dumb. Notice I said act. Emphasis on act. They're so obtuse. It's aggravating. Because you have to ask yourself, who the hell are y'all talking about? The top trump card when it comes to conspicuous consumption and luxury goods for women is not what they bought themselves. It's what a man bought them. And to be saying that to a woman, it's annoying because Anna knows better. She's acting like she don't. And that's definitely the case in the black community. Oh boy. Any one of y'all that unfortunately got dragged to a hair salon, nail salon, anywhere with your black mothers when you were a kid, y'all already know. When it comes time to brag and top trumps, it's what he bought her, not what she bought herself. Any one of y'all that ever did one of those college and early 20 something round table thing where it's a bunch of you guys, or you got dragged to, you did not even a double date, a quadruple date. The girls and the women talking about what they bought themselves look real foolish when the other girls start talking about what the boyfriend bought them. Somebody be looking real foolish, real embarrassed. Ask Mr. Z how he know. So for Anna to start pretending like she don't understand this, just to prove a point, right? And Leon says, and let's pause right here, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Leon says, sprinkle, sprinkle is all over IG, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok without using the word divester. Black women's holding light-skinned babies with no wedding rings on. Wow. Huh? Huh? That's why I know either FD was pretending, but I don't even know if he was really pretending, but okay. Either FD was pretending like he didn't know where Sprinkle Sprinkle came from, and when I said Shira 7, or he's not pretending, which is even more frightening. So let me get this right. You got all this smoke for black men, and you don't know who Shira 7 is? And essentially she's talking about witchcraft and voodoo and all type of occult-like things to get you to high value man? If you don't know what sprinkle sprinkle mean, that's what it means. I'm Haitian, I would know. By the way, dear leftists, that's how desperate these women are to have a man save them from themselves. That goes for everyone from your McDonald's worker and your Walmart cashier all the way to the women in the C-suite. Jesus Christ. Exactly. Trell, sprinkle, sprinkle equal abracadabra. Thank you. Let's leave that one up for a second. Let's leave that up for a second. Sprinkle, sprinkle equals abracadabra. Thank you. Right? You know, the channel The Take, which is a feminist leaning channel on YouTube, they even covered this with women mainly, because it was mainly women, doing this whole witchcrafty thing because the struggle is real and they're reaching for anything that'll make sense of the world. So they're reaching for the occult and all type of weird and interesting spirituality and witchcraft and magic and all this other stuff. Right? Huh. But instead of us having a real conversation about that, and the Take did do, the Take did cover it, so I got to give them that space. And once again, this is like a left leaning, feminist channel, so when they're right, you got to say they're right. But instead of black women on social media and these internet spaces really contending with that, really grappling with that, what they would much rather do is look at Jermaine and say how it's his fault. Meanwhile, white folks, white women are crying and yelling and screaming for some help financially, even the married ones. But you can't tell black women that. Too busy blaming Jermaine for everything wrong in their life. Right? So another thing, Cenk Uygur. So this is my issue with Cenk Uygur. And once again, Trail, great comment. Yes, sprinkle equals abracadabra. Once again, right? And Leon, thank you for the super chat once again. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And so Cenk speaks about, yeah, you might have the Gucci bag, but you have to shut up, right? And let's say this again. What universe do y'all live on, right? Where women aren't willing to shut up, at least pretend to, for a little while, for the Gucci bag. Like, I promise you, these people live in an alternate universe. Yes, Cenk, for the Gucci bag, most women are willing to shut up, even women that can afford it themselves. And the ones that can't lament that they can't. Anyone want to speak about Ebony K. Williams? The ones that have already spoiled themselves and now their bar is too goddamn high, low-key lament it. Once again, anyone wants to speak about Ebony K. Williams? Yeah, they'll shut up for the Gucci bag. It's funny listening to Cenk say that, and he kind of like says it in passing, like he dismisses it. Like, what? Are you a little girl? You're gonna shut up for the Gucci bag? Yes, yes, they will. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. For the Louis bag, for the $2,000 Louis bag, oh, absolutely. For the $2,000 and $3,000 Yves Saint Laurent bag, the YSL bag, oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, they will shut up. Oh, yes, they will. Right? Jake said, Cassie, cough, cough. Yes, Cassie was willing to shut up for 10 years, for a decade, to have the nice luxury car and the condos and have all the luxury stuff. Isn't that what we see with Homegirl and the City Girls? That was with Diddy for a little while. Trying to hold on for dear life. Apparently they broke up recently with this Cassie situation. Y'all don't know she wanted a baby from Diddy. The lifestyle. By the way, that's a rich, famous woman. My point exactly. Rich, famous women still want men that are even more rich and more famous. It's not just a poor and struggling woman thing. It's not just the lower middle class and working class woman thing. The ballerific women want dudes that earn even more. Did you hear me, FD signifier? That is Yanni's whole thing. I want to be a kept woman of leisure. That's Ebony K. Williams' whole thing. She sit it on horrible decisions. Women on her level are looking for dudes that earn even more. Carisha, yes, thank you, Tro. That's the young lady from the City Girls. That was with Diddy. Indigo Flow says hypergamy, baby. Exactly. So listening to Cenk say that, I'm like, wait a minute, what? What world? They got it. Okay, let's call a thing a thing. Either they're lying and lying to themselves, or they are in a bulletproof, bomb-proof, indestructible bubble. Right? They got to be in a bomb-proof bubble. Right? Jeez. Yes, Sink, these women are willing to shut up, or at least shut up for a little while, to acquire the nicer things in life, even if they can afford it themselves. Oh, don't you hate to hear it? Even if they can afford it themselves. How many degreed up women you hear sugar babying or doing foodie calls? Lettered women, letters in front of their name, letters after their name, making some good money in their 20s and 30s, and they still out here doing foodie calls. They're still out here trying to sugar baby. Why do you think that there now you hear more and more about this age gap dating and 20 something year old women dating late 30 something and even 40 something year old men for the lifestyle? Then you wonder why your young men that are in the same ages not having sex or being virgins. So yeah, Sank really, when he said that, I was like, oh, right. So yeah. So this is something that we're going to see more of. I think either we course correct a bit. Um, we need to bring men back online with work, with with participating in the labor force. Which I gather that the system is trying to head off, um, as I said before, disgruntled young white men from doing what disgruntled young white men have done throughout history, right? Particularly over the past 3 or so decades, right? Maybe 4 decades. What disgruntled white men have traditionally done, the system is trying to head that off from it happening. And who's leading the way of that, obviously, are white folks. That includes white women. And if throwing black women under the bus, if it entails throwing black women under the bus, oh, they're too happy to oblige. Dear black women. So who's next? That doesn't mean Shira Seven's channel is going to get deleted or whatever, but they put a spotlight on her and her type of rhetoric. So Cynthia G, head off. Shira Seven, spotlight, and called her quote unquote dating advice and relationship advice horrible. So who's next? Huh? Who's next? I see Paris ducking right now. Of course, she's enjoying her marriage. Chrissy says she's going to start putting more things on Patreon, essentially, especially the dark, ugly stuff where you really prey on these non-black dudes. Right? So Chrissy's going to put her most vile content, her most preying on these dudes and talking crap about black men. She's going to put that on Patreon. She deleted a bunch of her old stuff anyway, or at least maybe put them on Patreon. Same thing with Paris. Yanni talking about decentering men. Yawn. These women, first of all, Yanni, the vast majority of black women can't afford to decenter men. Let me say that. They literally cannot afford to decenter men, black men. This is what happens. This is one of my issues with these white feminists. This is what happens when you as a woman start earning a bit of money, or you have degrees and you're degreed up. You start talking like other women can move like you. The masses of women can't. Period. So Yanni making a good 6 figures. She done moved into a nice, I think, apartment or condo, and she has a nice view, and she got a Beamer, and she got it straight out new, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that sound nice. The vast majority of black women can't move like that, even the degreed ones. So that decenter men thing, that sound nice. So which one of y'all is next? Exodus, is it you, which you're calling Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mother, a mammy? Is it you? Tanya TKO, is it you? Who's next? Divested Zealot, is it you with your thumbnail of a black man being hung on one side of a tree while a black little girl swings on the other side of the tree? Who's next? Now that white folks, white women, are starting to peer into y'all spaces, that's 2 months. Cynthia G and Shira 7. Who's next? Huh? It ain't looking good. What's going on, Dr. Dunbar? And Dr. Dunbar says, yeah, we don't want disgruntled young white men. They go to the extreme when they're disgruntled. Exactly. Dr. Dunbar, you see what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Right? I said it. White women put the batteries in y'all back. They encouraged y'all, for those of them that were privy to the conversation of y'all defecating on black men. They made all that, yay, girl, I agree with you, yeah. You know, this random black man, I was dating him, and then he started talking crap about black women, and then I stopped dating him. They put the batteries in y'all back. Now they doing the whole, whose man's is this? Huh? So who's next? All you little weirdo black women in your channels and your 1 or 2 videos talking about negatively about black men that did numbers, right? Or you big content creators with 200 and, well, let's start it at 100, 150, 200, 300, 400, 500,000 subscribers. Which one of you are next? Right? Which one of you is next? So you have a Vox article, which I'm going to read. We might come back with a part 2, which I'm going to read. I'm going to find this Vox article. I'm going to read it, and we will speak about it. And you have TYT covering not men, once again, not men, but women. Women and the dating advice they give to women. The dating advice that is being given to women. Notice something. They only threw people of color under the bus with this. They had a brother. They talked about that Middle Eastern lady that's making the rounds right now. I forgot her name, right? She's speaking about women needing to dress more modestly and whatever. She kind of has a bit more of a traditional and conservative bent. They threw her under the bus. They threw a brother under the bus. They showed a clip of a black man speaking about, you know, not being friends with women and how that's not real. And then Shira 7. In other words, white folks are saying, yeah, that gender war thing, we don't got nothing to do with that. That ain't not us. Huh? FD, I heard what you said when you said they're making you know, people of color the face of this gender war thing. I heard you as a whole bunch of non-white folks. I heard you when you said it. And look at that. White women are throwing all of y'all under the bus. Look, Brad, that don't got nothing to do with me. I wasn't the one talking crap about men. No, not me, Brad. That was Shaquisha down the street. That was Keisha down the street. She's the one talking crap about black men while trying to prey on white men, Latino men, and Asian men. I didn't say anything. I don't have no white women all on campuses. All these feminists, white women also talking about decentering men. That's also, by the way, that's heterosexual feminists and white women too. Don't get it twisted. That's not just a black woman thing. White women all over college campuses talking crap about white men, wanting ballerific and not necessarily talking about no struggle love like how black women do, but kind of sort of. But now that things are starting to get hot, white women are like, yeah, I ain't built for this. Nope, nope, nope. I ain't doing it. Which reminds me of the video that BGS covered maybe a week or so ago now, a few days ago now, where you had the white woman or like the white adjacent woman. I think he said she might have been Greek descent, sitting next to the black woman, and the white woman was way more honest about, hey, I have a kid already. I'm getting a little bit older. If I could find a man that's like situated like this, I'll be okay, or I'll just be single, etc., etc. Not the black woman. Nope. Y'all know Mr. Z hate doing this comparison thing. Black women, get a clue. I'm not saying that these non-black women are better. I'm not saying that. Some of the brothers gonna have an issue in the comments. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they have a clue. And they understand that lying to themselves and attempting to lie to men. No, look, I'm still of this type of value, even though I have a kid, and even though I'm older and I'm more jaded and angry and bitter at life. Huh? These non-black women understand that, okay, look, lying to myself isn't going to get me what I want. Lying to the men or attempting to lie to the men isn't going to get me what I want. Let me just come up the middle and say, look, I know I come with these things that maybe I don't see as negative, but I know you perceive as negative. So let me see how I can make up for it in another way so I can beat out the young chick. That's what I'm saying, black women. That's what I'm saying. Be very clear what Mr. Z is saying. The difference, at least that we can see on camera, is that white woman or white adjacent woman was very clear. Look, I know I got negatives. I know how that might hold me back. We have a couple of black women in these spaces that speak like that. One of which is doing her thing in the black manosphere right now. But for the masses of black women, no, absolutely not. Nope. Ego in the way. They can't do it. I didn't say pride. I said ego. Ego in the way. They can't do it. Nope. Huh? I said it before. Do y'all understand? If y'all get left holding the bag on this men ain't crap stuff by yourselves, black women, do you know what that's going to mean? As all these white women, I'm talking about women pretty much under the age of like 40, I'm talking about millennials for the most part, 42, 43-ish and younger. As all these women, white women and Latina women that was holding hands with you, they had you with the microphone though. You were the one with the microphone, right? With the blowhorn, giggity, right? As they couple up and say, "All right, I'm done. I'm done talking. It's time for me to couple up with someone." As they duck out the back door, right, and they leave you holding the bag with this men ain't crap, this men ain't ish stuff. As they leave you holding the bag for that, do you understand what that's going to mean for you in the long run? Especially as these white people who have some inheritance coming through are married to each other. Do you understand what that's going to mean for you when that wealth gap becomes a chasm? Right? And JD says, let's pause right here. And JD says, thank you for the super chat. White women find that level up crap antagonistic. Absolutely, like I said, because it's a sneak diss to them. Black women may not perceive it as being a sneak diss to white women and to non-black women, but it's a sneak diss because your average white woman marries your average white man, and your average white man isn't a baller. So when you talk about no struggle love, and when you, excuse me, mock 50-50 relationships and these dudes that are making 60 grand, 50 grand, 45,000, $40,000 a year, you're mocking and making fun of the black man that earns that much. And there's a whole lot of white men that earn that much. And these white men, excuse me, these white women are married to those white men. As I said before, Chrissy, when you were making fun of those um white women who were graduating and they had their engagement rings on, and you're mocking them and making fun of them. You don't know. Okay, fine. Those women are going to be teachers earning some 40, 50, maybe 60 grand a year. Maybe one or two of them becomes principal, right? Okay, cool. You don't know who those people's sisters are and girl cousins are and brothers are. You don't know what their husbands are going to be in 10 and 15 years, 20 years. While you mock them, you don't know who their mothers are, their fathers are. You don't know. You don't know if one of those women that got back to her. Oh, there's some black female content creator on YouTube that was making fun of us when we were walking across the stage for graduation. She's making fun of our wedding rings and she's making fun of our fiancés. You don't know. Y'all be talking super reckless. The white dudes that I have gone at, some of them content creators, I know. Right? And when I go at white men in general and make fun of and mock them, I know what I'm doing and what I'm saying. And I tie it to, oh, y'all thought y'all were the elite, huh? You thought the elite white man was gonna look out for you. Maybe you forgot what they did to y'all in Europe. I know what I'm saying. Is that what you're saying, Chrissy? Nope. Yanni? Nope. Paris? Nope. Shira 7? Nope. Princella? Nope. Divested witch, divested zealot, conservative black woman? Nope, nope, nope. Hashtag black woman, all of you. Is that what y'all are doing? Nope. So y'all are sneak dissing these white women, and you don't know if it gets back to them, and then you don't know who those people are connected to. You don't know. With local Congress member, local senator, mayor, you don't know. CEO of this, CFO of that. You have no idea. How far removed is your average white person to a millionaire? What they said, 7 spaces removed or something? Black people, it's like 50 spaces removed. I think white folks, it was like 7. You don't know. You don't know. So yes, JD, I agree with you. These white women find this type of stuff when they come across it, it's antagonistic. Is that all white women? No. Are there white women that's going to agree with y'all and clap it up for y'all and encourage you? Yes. But your average white woman, you don't know if you're offending her. And once again, thank you for the super chat, JD. Thank you for the super chat. And no placeholder says, and thank you for the super chat. Going to work is shutting up for the Gucci bag. Man, look, like, it's funny because you hear Sink say that, and you're like, Sink, are you, what world are you? Where are you? Are you on planet Earth? Are you on planet Earth? Are you in the Western world? And are you in America? And like I said it to FD, you think we're in a bubble. And when I said that to him, it wasn't just a knee-jerk reaction. No. You're saying we're in a bubble. No, you're the one in the bubble. I'm not just saying that as a knee-jerk reaction to what you're saying. You and other leftists like you either know and pretend not to know, or you truly don't know, and that's frightening. You think that these women on the internet are saying these things, and it's just a handful of women, and it's a very select type of woman. No. The white woman Courtney Ryan out of Ohio of all places, interviewing random young women, and they all talking this crazy money ballerific stuff to the point where people were speculating that they had to come from, well-off families and their trust fund babies. Nope, not most of them. The one lighter skinned sister with the glasses already has a kid and talking $650,000 a year. Remember, she's not being interviewed by Fresh and Fit. She's not being interviewed by Kevin Samuels. This is not Andrew Tate talking to her. This is a white woman, Courtney Ryan, just asking random questions. Random questions about, excuse me, about what their dreams and aspirations are, and what they like, and what they expect, and the type of the age range that they find attractive, what they expect a man to earn. Right? And all of them talking crazy numbers. Even the one young white woman who was a little bit more down to earth, who knew better, said a crazy number, and then she started beating herself up, which is, oh, I knew better, I knew better. And brothers like FD think we're in our bubble. He thinks this internet thing is just, it's taking one side of the conversation, right? And it's a very specific type of woman who's saying these type of things, right? It's easy to throw. See, now they're throwing boss girl feminism under the bus. They've been doing that for the past year or two. The left is doing that now. For the past couple of years, they've been doing that. Y'all were not talking like that 5 and 7 and 10 years ago. Y'all were all on the Sheryl Sandberg train. Even though Michelle Obama said that ish don't work, that lean in crap. Now y'all over here saying, oh yeah, that's that boss girl feminism. No. It's patriarchy by feminist specifications. They still want the money part of patriarchy. They want the provider part of patriarchy. They want the protector part of patriarchy. They want the King Kong ding-a-ling of patriarchy. And y'all refuse to accept it. Dear left, the reason why the right is running circles around y'all with this is because the right just accepts it. Yeah, women are hypocrites. They talking all this talk. We know they don't mean it. The left is like, no, that's not true. That's this certain type of women and this boss feminism. Nope. Even your leftists and the dark parts of their mind and their sensibilities and their feelings is, but I still want a man that could afford this, and I want him to be able to, when I get pregnant, I want to be a stay-at-home mother for a little bit at least, and I want to, uh-huh, uh-huh, right. And once again, thank you for the super chat, no placeholder. And I am Wolf says, and no, I did not miss the no, Jake, I didn't miss I am Wolf's super chat. It was just like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I didn't miss the comment. It was the last one on the list, so we're getting to it now. And I am Wolf says, Z, do you believe there's a possible connection between the black female arsonist trying to burn MLK's house and the rhetoric of Sinji, Yanni, etc. Slandering him? Huh. I think that's too soon to call. I think that's too soon to call. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a person that never even heard of these people before, right? Although we know that much of that rhetoric is still floating around in the black community, even if you don't know Chrissy, you don't know who Yanni is, you don't know who Cynthia G is, and all these other content creators, that type of rhetoric is still floating around in the black community. This black men ain't ish. These black civil rights leaders did what they did, excuse me, to have access to white women. All the marching and protests was for them to have interracial sex with white women and any non-black women. We understand that. So right, that rhetoric is way older than this conversation on social media, this back and forth on social media between black men and black women, right? The black men talk black but sleep white rhetoric. So that's way older than what we see on social media. I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised either way. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if you checked the internet history, and yeah, these people are subscribed to and have listened to Yanni and Chrissy and what's the name of the supposed comedian that also said that what is her name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. That said something like, Martin Luther King wasn't really a good man because he cheated on Coretta and yada yada yada, and she was being so loud and animated. What is her name again? It's right there too. Something B or B Simone, B Simone, B Simone. There we go. Yeah, B Simone, B Simone. Yeah, right. So once again, I mean, dear black women, y'all have been so egregious with the black men ain't ish rhetoric that your daughters adopted it. And as social media and high speed internet has become a thing over the past decade plus, decade and a half, yes, we had Black Planet back in the day, and we had America Online and Instant Messenger and yada yada yada. But ever since these apps on your phone and high speed internet, yeah, your daughters took that rhetoric and brought it onto the internet and sounded absolutely insane, to the point where they're insulting civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King with the type of rhetoric, and sometimes worse, that you used to say in their presence. Right? So yeah, a Yanni would say something like that, and yeah, B Simone would say something like that. Why not? And so if you have black women that are trying to torch something related to Martin Luther King, and we find out that they listen to B Simone, or they were a fan of hers, or they're subscribed to Real Talk with Yanni, why would we be surprised? I'm not saying that. I'm not accusing those women of having the ear of this young lady, but still, right? And yeah, this is BGS's whole argument. And Compassionate Callis says the tangle of pathology has spilled over into popular culture, right? Yeah, that's BGS's whole argument. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, right? And that's the whole point of this video today. Dear black women, y'all are being too damn loud. TYT. TYT, if it's not, at one point, it was the most viewed, or at least most subscribed news channel on the internet. I don't know if they might have lost that trophy, or that lost that belt, but at one point they were the most. Right? Definitely left leaning news outlet on the internet, on social media. Definitely on YouTube. At one point, they, at least I know, on the for left leaning or bending left news outlets on YouTube, I think they're still number one with viewership. Right now that we know we have the Daily Wire and all this other stuff, they might not be number one for all news, maybe just for left leaning news now. Right? So when you have whatchamacallit University and and Daily Wire, et cetera, et cetera. So now, maybe not, they may not have the belt for, the most subscribers and viewers, but yeah. Huh. So once again, Shira 7. They put Shira 7 was the face. You don't think there's white women with toxic ass um dating advice that are doing numbers on TikTok? You don't think there's white women like that? Latinas, these kind of mixed whatever women, right? No, they put Shira 7 as the face. They put Shira 7 as the face. Ooh, right? And Kyle Bonner says, what happened to Shira 7? So TYT, the Young Turks, um, very notable, very large pause news publication on YouTube, covered a Vox article speaking about dating advice directed towards women, right? Dating and relationship advice. Um, oh, Dr. Thunder, I'll drop the link for you, Dr. Thunder. Um, by the way, if y'all don't know, Mr. Z is living life a little reckless right now. Kind of, sort of reckless. Kind of, sort of reckless. So if I come to an abrupt stop, y'all know why, right? Wink, wink, nod, nod. Nobody put it in the comments. Um, so yeah. Um, what was I saying? I lost my goddamn train of thought. Oh yeah, TYT. We're talking about TYT. So TYT covers the Vox article, and they play as their primary, coverage. Shira 7 speaking about pretty much dating men and marrying men for money. Period. Right? Like hands down, full stop. The money aspect of the relationship, like everything, it's around the money. Screw the opinion, and no matter whatever, money. Right? And obviously we know most men aren't ballers, most men don't got it like that. So you have to gather that white women are starting to feel a certain way about this, or enough white women are starting to feel a certain way about this. Number one. Number two, as I've said multiple times to black women, y'all are being too damn loud, right? Y'all are being too loud on these internet, right? On what they say, Beyonce's internet, right? And so, you know, and it was this was eventually going to happen. This was bound to happen eventually, right? And there we go for Dr. Thunder. Yeah, this was bound to happen eventually. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, right? As I said before, y'all are being too loud, dear black women. Yes, Dr. Thunder, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And Dr. Thunder says, you ain't got to do all of that just for me. Yes, I do. Yes, absolutely, I do. Yes, I put the link in. And the link is up there, right? And I'm telling you, as I said before, as someone who is not as accomplished as these people, there's a reason why I'm framing it this way. If I see it, they see it, right? If I see it, they see it. And this is not sustainable. Now, if we're gonna get into some pro-black stuff, right? Pro-black community stuff. Dear black women, everybody see your goddamn temper tantrum, bro. Everybody see your temper tantrum, and that your real issue is that you're not an upper middle class white woman, right? Exactly, Indigo. Thank you, Indigo. How come everybody wants black women to be quiet? Oh my god. Comments like that, and by the way, comments like that are all over that video, all over that segment, and it speaks to the delusion, and it speaks to not understanding what time you're in. Like, once again, the financial crunch that people are feeling, the financial crunch that people are going through. This is what Tone Talks was covering. Was it a week ago, right? This is, people are feeling this financial crunch. That's including white women and white men. And to see black women on social media essentially advocating on preying on men, white men, let's be honest, really white men, for the money in this environment. That's why people are telling you, will you shut the hell up? You sound, first of all, you sound delusional. Secondly, you sound cold and conniving and calculating, which once again, even women don't like. There's studies on this, right? That women don't even like these boss hog women, these cold and calculating, these shrewd ass women. That even women would rather be working and be around a shrewd man than a shrewd woman. So you're coming off cold and calculating. Then you have to remember you're defecating and insulting black men, right? So even when you try not to do the whole black men ain't ish, but white men are better, even when you try to skip the white men are better part, everyone knows what you're really saying. I whoops it sound delusional? No, delusional. You're right, delusional, right? So even when you do the whole, defecating on black men and these other men know they're real, they know that essentially they're supposed to be paymasters. You're preying on these white women's brothers. You're preying on these white women's fathers. You're preying on these white women's guy cousins, their nephews. They hear and see you, dear black women. They hear and see you. I know we talk about, black Twitter, and black Twitter's a thing, but not really. It's where black people congregate on the internet, absolutely, right? Where they congregate on Twitter, a bunch of memes and quotes and, excuse me, witticisms and all that other stuff. Yeah. Old folk tales that black people understand. Yeah, absolutely. That's real. Yes, it's real. But what's not real is that there's an actual black Twitter where you got to shine your melanin and you got to put your forearm next to your phone and your phone reads, okay, this person is black. Okay, you're allowed to be on black Twitter, and that includes Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, etc., etc. That's not real. So what is Mr. Z saying? Non-black people get to read and see and watch what we're doing also. And they get to critique it also. Exhibit A, TYT, Exhibit B, Vox, or better yet, Exhibit A, Vox, Exhibit B, TYT. Exhibit C, the white woman that got Cynthia G the hell up out of here. Exhibit D, The View, and a bunch of other publications and news outlets and these kind of morning talk shows and talk shows covering the 28 places that women refuse to go for first dates and covering the whole cheesecake date debacle. And Chrissy felt a certain way about that then, right? Chrissy felt a certain way about that then, and she was saying the same thing that Indigo was saying. Oh, it's like they're trying to shame us. Yes, they're trying to shame y'all. You sound crazy, right? And we'll pause right here. We got Dr. Thunder up. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. What's going on, Doc?
What's happening, man? How you doing?
Good. Finding you.
All right. Yeah, this looking conniving and looking like the goal is just to take advantage of whoever they catch.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that doesn't play well.
Nope.
Yeah, it doesn't play well. It's in a different way. It's kind of like all of this negative talk that many of them have been doing online, talking about how black men are dusty and two left feet and and all of the other tropes, usual misinformation about black men.
Mm-hmm.
And then the likelihood that for some reason, the white men, the Hispanic men, the Chinese men, whatever, that watch the internet and are privy and have access to all of the open and free content, somehow when they see it, they don't have the ability to interpret what it is that they're saying, and that likely
Exactly.
they're going to be the next people on the list for mistreatment. You know, some of this is like, you know, when you go through a drive-through, and I'm always very kind and friendly
Mm-hmm.
to the people, and I do this for a couple reasons. I do it because I think human beings deserve a certain amount of respect, regardless. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter what your job is,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just a basic respect. But I also do it because I don't want some extra sauce on my burger. Something that I didn't anticipate.
Special
Right?
sauce.
That's right.
Yep.
And you go through a drive-through. I've told this story before,
Mm-hmm.
and this is with but you know, this is ancient history. But this girl that I was dating, we were in a car, and she had an attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Black girl. And we go through Burger King, and she, you know, I order mine. Mine is always
Mm-hmm.
real simple. I don't have anything additional I need. I might want you to add cheese on something, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Hers is like all kinds of change this up, use this other bread, blah, 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 blah. Don't make sure you don't put any tomato on it, blah, 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 you know, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have all of those kind of requests, often
Somebody's
it's the
bound to
case
mess
that,
it up.
yeah, they're going to make a mistake, but that's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's like don't sweat the small stuff kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? And but to her, when it was wrong, she opens up the window of my car and just throws the sandwich out the. It was a truck actually, and throws
Mm-hmm.
and throws the sandwich out the window of my truck. And I'm like, you know, I could have taken that in. Actually, before she threw it out, I said, "Don't worry
Mm-hmm.
about it. I'll take it back in and make it right." But she was like, blah blah blah, and she throws it out the window. So, you know, and I'm kind of telling her, look, what the heck is, you know, what's going on? And
Mm-hmm.
she didn't like me questioning her, so she takes a full container of Sprite, not Diet Sprite, and as I'm driving, throws it in my face.
So let's
Right?
pause right here, Dr. Thunder. Let's pause right here because I heard you when you said this story on your channel. And
Yep.
all I could think is, didn't Dr. Thunder tell us that he could bench 420 pounds? And this lady is like, if Dr. Thunder was that guy, he could break a neck with his bare hands. Ain't no weapons needed. Like I don't know. Like when I think about stuff like that, I'm a man. I'm 5'9". I'm not the biggest dude in the world. I'm not the smallest dude in the world, right? And I just think to myself, like, imagine just stepping to someone like Charles or Dr. Thunder or like even Nameless protagonist. Nameless is not that big, but that could like break you in half. And imagine talking crap to them. I don't talk crap to dudes I think I could take, let alone dudes I know I can't take. And this lady is throwing a Sprite in your face. It's just,
Let me.
it's just
Yeah,
mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling. I'm
that's
sorry.
crazy.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Anubis for the $50.
Right, exactly, right, exactly. Yep. That's why I have it highlighted. Thank you, Anubis. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Anubis be out here supporting heavy.
But what him and KMS talk about sprinkle.
No, ain't that ain't no sprinkle. That ain't no sprinkle, man.
That's a whole rain shower.
Yeah. That's like dumping a bucket of water. That's like the coach getting drenched with some Gatorade.
Right, with some Gatorade.
Right.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, so she does that, and do you know that for the life of that car,
Mm-hmm.
and I had it for several years after that, I could not get rid of all of the sticky stuff. I couldn't get to all of the crevices for the sticky stuff of that Sprite. And of course, it was dangerous.
So a constant reminder.
Right, a constant reminder.
Oof.
But it was so I couldn't get rid of the sticky stuff, and it was dangerous. Mm-hmm. It was dangerous what she did because we were driving. Yeah. Then she gonna
There's
throw
a pun in there, by the way, Dr. Thunder. There's a pun in there somewhere. Go ahead.
Oh, right.
Go ahead. I had to do it. My 12-year-old mind, I couldn't let it go. Go ahead.
And so then she jumps out the car. You know,
Mm,
she opens the door of the car. I mean, we were driving like 25 miles an hour, but
mm,
she opens the door of the car. You know, I stop the car. She jumps out, and my and me as a uh, you know, I'm a young man. I'm still
mhm.
pretty, you know, I'm still pretty blue pill. You know, I'm here driving slow with the window down, saying, "Hey, just get back in the car." Now I'm drenched with Sprite. I paid for a sandwich that she threw on the ground, right? So I'm saying this to say that it's not like black men haven't been bending over backwards
Yes.
to try to make this work, and been willing to take all kinds of attitude, take all kinds of poor treatment, be uh, be seen as, you know, the sort of jerk by association. You know, so
Mhm.
I pull through this driveway, and I'm trying to be friendly and nice. She's kind of barking at him, you know, and you know, it's not like we haven't been willing to deal with that.
Yep.
And so all of this, all of this sort of temper tantrum, as you describe it, it's like, dude, grow up. Just grow up.
That's why I call it arrested development. Arrested development.
Just
That's all it
grow
could
up.
be. Yeah.
And and I don't care how good you think you look. There's nobody wants to deal with that.
No.
Nobody wants to deal with that. And I was kind of joking when you were, because I know you are you're pro black love. Let's put it that way.
I
I
am.
know the
I am.
yeah
I
I
own
know
it.
the pro. Yeah, right. And I am too. I would
Mhm.
I was on a panel last night with Dennis Sperling,
Mhm.
and one thing that Dennis said was he would prefer that brothers choose women from the African diaspora, but
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
get whoever you got to get, right? But in the chat to this video, in your chat earlier, I was
Mhm.
joking. I said that you was going full Mad Bus Driver X.
Mhm. It's true, but it's you know what the thing with the I think we're in agreement with this is we're pro black love, but we don't want brothers to have to bend. We're not for brothers bending over backwards, accepting disrespect and insults just to end up with primarily a ADOS black woman, but a black woman in general, right? Like that's too much of a cost to bear just to say you're with a black woman,
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, nobody's nobody
and
nobody ain't nobody got time for that. Go ahead.
I will tell you, and this really is a thing.
Hmm.
There is a point of pride with me that I'm with a black woman. There
Yes,
is a point
me
of
too.
pride.
Hmm.
That is something that I do want to be able to say. But if you think that brothers that want to be able to say that to the point of erring, you know, that far and bending over backwards that far, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
These brothers are uh, that's an endangered species.
Yeah,
Those brothers are soon to be non-existent.
agreed,
Yeah.
agreed. And you know, at the end of the day, if I am to grant black women that they're frustrated, they don't like the environment, um, right? Let's go through the isms, right? Capitalism, patriarchy, neoliberalism, consumerism, blah 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 blah, colorism, etc., etc. If black women say, okay, these are our issues, and we're tired of being on the bottom, once again, intersectional feminist theory, whatever, whatever, then how do you then pause right there and then say that black men also don't have gripes, legitimate gripes with black women and how they respond to those systems in relation to black men? That's I always frame it this way because it's so simple. It's like you know it's so easy a caveman can do it. It's so simple to just frame it. Okay, okay, granted, I give you all of that. How do you think that? How do you think you've responded in a way that's detrimental to boys and men, black boys and men? And that's all you have to do and just watch their heads explode because they never consider that the way they're responding to these isms, right, and this structure, it is detrimental and causes an issue in black boys and men's lives, right? And I'll pause right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, frankly, good luck getting them to even admit anything,
True.
right? I mean, they're not even going to admit that they've done anything. Oh, I've
Yeah.
done nothing to, because I think it's such a lack of introspection. There's
Yes.
not a lot of look at, let me look at myself to see what it is that I'm doing that may be contributing to my bad luck or my bad results in the market. It's rather everything is external. Everything is, it must be something out there that is causing this, and then
Hmm.
therefore that justifies how I'm feeling, and that I'm filled with vitriol, and then gradually devolve to the point where I'm advocating using witchcraft and other things to convince other other group men
Yep.
and trick them into relationships. And then that house somehow is supposed to be better than just
You
admitting where
imagine
you're wrong.
what world we're living in where we really have black women who just a generation or two ago were all in the church and they super holy Christian rollers, right? And now their daughters and granddaughters are speaking about voodoo, and I'm saying this as a Haitian, right? Voodoo and a comey and all type of witchcraft, not to do better. Understand what I'm saying? Not for a job or a career, not to have a child, not for any to land, not even just a man, but a particular type of man. We talking about witchcraft and voodoo and okomi and all this other different, magic and all this other stuff for a type of man. That's how far we've gotten. Just a generation or two ago, these people were in your Catholic, in your Protestant, in your Baptist type of churches, and now they daughters and granddaughters talking like this. Insane. Absolutely insane.
Yep, numerology,
Yep.
the
Yep.
secret, manifesting,
Yep.
you already said witchcraft,
Mm-hmm.
stones, and all of this
All
kind of
of
stuff.
it. Beads.
All of this. Oh my goodness gracious! It's just way over the top. There's a former student of mine,
Hmm.
and super talented singer, and she's a creative, and she was in one of the bands that I directed. It's a commercial music ensemble, so we focus on um, Black American music and all of its exports, as it were.
Hmm.
Um, and so great singer, but she was like one of these, and she happened to. It was weird because her aunt was uh, was a member at the church that I was an MD at, and that was a
Hmm.
missionary Baptist church, so, black church. So every once in a while, I would see her there, right? But she like, she had like some, stones on, and she was talking that Wiccan stuff, and black girl, and she was talking
Hmm.
all of this kind of stuff. But in her heart of hearts, like if you pressed her, she would kind of say she was Christian, but she just had all of this
Hmm.
auxiliary stuff, you know.
Yep.
And she told me that based on some conversations, because she would come and knock on my door random times, and we'd end up talking for a couple hours because she was having some trouble with music theory and some other things, and she wasn't feeling totally welcomed by the school because it's a PWI, and
Yes.
there is just it's just some other stuff. So anyhow, through several of our conversations, she said that she learned that she needed to drop a lot of that witchcraft stuff, and it was holding her back, and that's everything else. And then before long, she ended up with a boyfriend, and now she's married to him.
Hmm.
And they both relocated, I think, to the city that she lived in
Hmm.
prior to coming to the school that I work at. And it's a good story. And every once in a while, I'll see her in my chat.
Hmm.
So she listens to the
Oh
show and
wow.
stuff, various shows and things. Yeah. So sometimes people will say, well, we don't actually have access to the women that need to make these changes. I think you'd be surprised at how some of these sort of connections actually work. And even if nothing else worked, I know that um, this particular young lady who now is in a good, she's in a good situation. She's married. She didn't wait until, so she would have gotten married when she was like 23 or something, 24.
Hmm.
So she didn't do the typical, let me wait until I'm 35 or 40 and then start complaining,
Right
and
before I hit
no,
the
and
wall or after I hit the wall.
that's right. Right. So she made a good decision, and she came
Hmm.
from a challenging sort of family situation. That was one thing that we would talk about, is that she was basically she was the oldest, and she was basically expected to take care of all of her siblings, and
Mm,
her
yeah.
parents were not together, and it was just a long list of things, and it was a lot of financial struggle, and like that.
Hmm.
She had a big scholarship to go to the school that I work at, so yeah. So I mean,
So which,
it's possible. It's possible for stuff to change.
but that's the thing. So you're saying that after she dropped the delusional talk,
That's right.
she found her a boyfriend, and now she's married to that boyfriend after the delusional talk.
That's right.
Okay, not before or during. I'm doing this on purpose, Dr. Thunder. Not
Yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
or during, but
Yep.
after the witchcraft and magic and beads and all this extracurricular stuff. Okay, yeah, I'm
Y-
just making
Yep.
sure that we making sense here. Okay.
Yep. She realized that stuff was holding her back, and I even remember in our conversation, some of her conversation about some dudes and stuff that she may have been interested in at some point, and
Hmm.
it was never like a positive thing. Um, so she just changed. She just changed her perspective, and she was young
Hmm.
enough to
Hmm.
hear what it was that I was saying. Of course, that is a big factor.
Doc, when you mentioned that, so one of my best friends, I can't say what he does for a living, but he's the one of us that makes six figures. He easily clear it. He been doing that since like 2014, 15. He just gone, right? I watched. I remember this is like my best friend. He used to live here in South Florida. I watched as his now wife, who at the time was his baby mom. I watched as her worldview changed and as she became more of a positive person and go getter and whatever. I literally watched her mindset change, and then I watched him change the way he thought, um, do what he needed to do, right, and got himself in the space to eventually get to where he is now financially, right. And he's living a great life. Him and his kids him and her are kind of going through it a little bit, but the money just makes it so much easier on their situation, even though they're going through it. But I literally watch her mindset change, and then you blink, and then what I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years later, at the most 6 years later, six figures, and I watched that happen front row
Yeah.
seat. And so that goes to show like it can happen. But once again, if you're viewing men a particular way, if you're attempting not to do this the way it traditionally works, well, not saying it can't work, but most likely, I'm just saying, right? And Ishmael says, and thank you for the super chat. One time for Dr. Thunder, cool jazz, right? Right. So yeah, yeah, Doc, you have fans out there, Doc. You have fans out there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I like I said, I at the end of the day, I look at this TYT clip as another shot against the bow of some of this quote unquote dating and relationship advice thing that women in general, but really black women are engaging in on social media. And I really mean it when I'm saying I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. When it at least for me seems like white women are doing like the whose man's is this? We ain't with that. That's not what we're saying, white men. Like that, don't put us together with Keisha, right? Because it, I don't think it's a coincidence that they keep on bringing up. Like there's plenty of white women who are engaging in some of this type of talk on social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, etc. But they continue to put black women's faces as the face of this type of talk. And I like black women really need a PR person. They really need a PR person. It's bad. right? Because you're not supposed to be doing that in the comments. In the comments for TYT, you're not supposed to be saying, well, why are they trying to shut black women up? You're supposed to play damsel in distress. You're supposed to throw other people under the bus. White women do it too. That's what you're supposed to be engaging in. Not the why they trying to shut us up. It's my head hurts. I'm sorry, doc. My head hurts.
Yeah, no, I get it. I was saying uh, maybe on my show yesterday morning, or I mean, it was sometime this week of shows, morning shows, when I was just
Mm-hmm.
talking about um, marketing. But I was talking
Mm-hmm.
about,
Mm-hmm.
look, there is a really bad collective black female image right now, and with respect to the dating stuff, with respect to, well, there's some other things too, but
Yep. Yep.
with respect to that, there's a lot of bad stuff, and in order to change that dynamic, I said I need to start hearing and seeing these supposed good black women speaking up. I need to see them start pushing back
Yep.
more
Yep.
aggressively against this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and stop with the sister code crap. Okay,
Ugh.
if you can't realize that those that are have this tribalism, this tribalistic, uh, attachment to the sister code, and that's being more important than everything else. If you don't realize that that is devastating, damaging, terrible, bad, and since the collective image is so poor right now, look, you need to be willing to kick them off the bus,
Yeah.
run over them with the bus, whatever you need to do, because that is
Mm-hmm.
not that's bad. It's a bad look, and
Yep.
it's going to continue to hemorrhage. You're going to continue to hemorrhage viable options.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I don't. I wonder how much of what we're describing is a fundamentally that these people lack foresight. They can't they can't do the social math, or they refuse to do it. They can't read the tea leaves. You would think they would be able to read the tea leaves with all this magical talk they doing. They right, like they don't know how to read graphs. Like this is so Dr. Thunder, this is so predictable, it's scary. Like none of this is am I surprised by? None of this is taking me aback. None of it. I am literally sitting here saying, "I told you so." Like that. Pretty much that's what this stream is. A big ass "I told you so," and it's not to brag about "I told you so." It is to say like this is so predictable. If I see it, how did you not see it? And if you did see it, and I'm speaking to these content creators particularly, if you did see it and you continued on this road with this type of rhetoric and language anyway, do you really care about black women? Okay, forget black men. Fine, you already have. Do you really care about black women? If you couldn't see this coming, oh my God. And second, if you did and you knew that this could be an outcome where white women threw you under the bus and did the whole "that ain't me, that's Keisha, whose man's is this?" If you knew that was a possibility and it was more than likely going to be something that would happen, and you continued with this rhetoric, this preying on non-black men rhetoric, which is how other people are interpreting this, rightfully so. Do you really care about black women if you continued with that type of rhetoric anyway?
No,
My point.
the answer is no.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And in other
Yeah.
words, you were so angry with Tommy Sotomayor. You were so angry with Kevin Samuels and all of the black manosphere. You were so incensed. Once again, not actually giving credence to what they're saying and critiquing behavior. You were just mad that somebody was saying something, right? Black men were supposed to shut up, and white men were supposed to give you their microphone, pun intended, so that you can speak negatively about black men. And once the internet and social media came and democratized this town square, you didn't have the monopoly on the rhetoric anymore. So once these brothers started speaking, you were so incensed by them speaking that you decided to scorch earth, burn everything to the ground, even if other black women got to feel this eventually. So you don't care about black women. You cared about your ego. That's all.
Yep, that's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
This is not this sort of uh, what is it? It's evolved in acting in one's best own self. What is it? Enlightened self-interest. Someone that has evolved and grown to the next stage of development because they've done the introspective work and they recognize that they need to push back against these negative factors in society that happen to be coming from the black manosphere, Kevin Samuels and whatnot. It's not that at all. It's some surface level. You hurt my feelings, and now everybody's got to pay. It's the reason. This is the very reason for the principle in the Old Testament, an eye for an eye. An eye for an eye was not to establish the necessary punishment for an act. It was to establish what parity would be. What would be an equal punishment for the crime. So because what we want to do, what human beings do, is if you take my hand, I want to take your arm. Right?
Yes.
If you take my arm, I want to take both of your legs.
Yep.
Right? It's never on par. So she got in her feelings. These women have gotten in their and
Doc, you broke up. I don't know if is that me or is that? Can you guys hear me? Or I can't hear Dr. Thunder right now.
Hopefully I'm back now.
Yeah, you are. I can hear you better now. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. What happens? Yeah, what happens in my car is StreamYard connects with my phone, so so my car thinks it's the phone, which makes it use a better microphone, stuff like that. But if somebody calls, then I'm on the phone, so it thinks I'm on the phone. So then it does whatever. So I'm sorry.
So you know what I do? So I always turn off my Bluetooth when I get in the car. That's what try doing that whenever you're going to stream in the car. Turn off your Bluetooth so that your car doesn't connect to the phone, at least for StreamYards, right? So and then when you're done, then turn your Bluetooth back on. That's what I do at least.
I see. So anyhow, I don't remember what I was saying.
We were speaking about the pride part, and wait a minute, I lost my train of thought. So I think pretty much that's what you were speaking to, the righteous indignation, and that's the term I'm using. That's not the word you use, but that they were framing this as righteous indignation instead of it just you got your feelings hurt because black men now have a microphone to respond to decades of black men ain't ish rhetoric.
Right. And I was sort of searching for that righteous indignation. It didn't come to mind at the time. But yes, that's what.
That happens to me sometimes.
And then
shout out to Trell and Toya.
And then I was.
they keep me on the straight on the narrow with that because that happens to me also. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that eye for an eye, I think, is what I was talking about too. But that's the reason. That's the reason for that principle is because human beings want more than what was taken from them.
Yes.
And so it was attempting to establish, look, if somebody does this to you, then you're only allowed to do this other thing to them. Now, obviously, in social media age, the gloves are off. It's all unregulated. Anything goes. You can say all kinds of reckless, wild stuff, especially if you're a woman, without being checked. It just does all this terrible devastation. And you think that you're damaging the men, and perhaps you're doing some damage to the men, but really you're just damaging other women that look like you. For the most part, that's who's getting damaged. And the last thing I was going to say is my son, I have a 10-year-old son. I'll tell you, if I had a daughter, I would be telling my daughter that every time, the way that she can separate herself from other girls, one of the easiest things to do is to make sure that she's seen criticizing bad behavior by other women in front of men.
Yep. That's so easy.
Right. It's super simple.
Shout out to Toya.
It's super simple. super simple.
Quickest
That's, I
way.
mean, that,
Hmm.
yep, that is a key. I just gave some game right there
Talking about
for
dropping
some ladies
jewels.
in the chat. Yeah. I just gave some game there. But all
Hmm.
you have to do is just be seen willing to criticize negative behavior of other women. And if you're willing to do that, then that's going to necessarily separate you from a long list of women. Now you have to be willing to be seen by other women doing that too.
Hmm.
It can't just look like it's just for the men. And I'll
Dog,
tell you, my son. Yeah,
does it?
go ahead.
Would you call that pick me behavior? Are you advocating for black women to be pick me's, Dr. Thunder?
100%. Because look,
Absolutely,
100%.
absolutely. I agree. By the way, I agree.
All of the look, virtually all of the women, the traditional women of the past were pick me.
Hmm. Exactly.
Virtually all. That's how they got picked.
Thank you.
Okay, and you must do that. It's this feminist propaganda that is that has caused the typical woman to see it as negative to quote unquote pander or quote unquote orient themselves to the perspective of the kind of man that they want. Okay,
Yes.
it's the feminist propaganda that has convinced them that is weakness. No, that's not weakness. That's how you get selected.
Yep.
That's how you get selected. You
Imagine
want
wanting
this.
to be picked. No, go ahead. Sorry about that, Doctor Thunk. Finish up because I was gonna make a funny, but go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, no. I mean, if you want to get selected,
Hmm.
then you have to do what's necessary to get selected. And
Yep.
especially in a scenario where this dude is going to be paying more of the bills, is going to be putting himself at risk for life, and is
Hmm.
putting himself at a significant risk legally, because all it takes is for you to change your mind, and then you can extract maximum resources for life.
Yep.
You better you better be willing to look like a pick me. Oh, what the
Um,
heck?
imagine wanting to be married or be in a long-term relationship. Imagine that, and then saying you don't want to be a pick me. Imagine saying things like decenter men, right? Imagine saying things like that while you low key lament not being in a relationship, and everyone knows that's what the whole decenter men campaign is about. If you think I'm talking about you, I'm talking about you. So imagine that. It's crazy talk. It's absolutely insane, and that's why I say this is the ego talking. This is the ego talking. This is I want that, but I don't want to give the men the satisfaction of me saying I want that. So I'm going to talk about not wanting that. I'm going to convince other black women to decenter men and to say that they don't want this either, even though every once in a while you'll catch me lamenting not having this thing. Pathetic. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Doc.
See the dumb thing. Of course, this the social constructionists, and of course, feminists are social constructionists. Um, so they believe that it's all nurture and no nature. And so basically just teach them different, indoctrinate them different, propagandize them in a certain way, and you'll be able to eliminate the sort of biological imperative that all of us have. Men's biological imperative expresses itself differently than women's, and men and women are different. I know we're not allowed to say that, but men and women are different. And so when women get to a certain age, regardless as to how they've been indoctrinated, once they start hearing that loud sound of the clicking of the clicking clock,
That
it
TikTok.
changes everything. That's right. They've done all of this stuff to be able to work a certain kind of job that is going to work them like a man. They have complimentary egg freezing services so that they really can work them like a man, right? And then they have about 5 years of 80-hour weeks, and they say, what the heck? I don't want this. I never really
That's
wanted this. Why did I
that's
listen?
that's crazy to me, Doc. Is that You know, we talk about, and I'm being careful because you're on the channel. The hegemony of a certain demographic. You call it the dominant society. So I'll say the dominant society, right? We talk about the hegemony of the dominant society, right? And if they're now offering egg freezing to primarily working class women, not so much, women of our demographic, but some of them get to participate in that also. But for the most part, working class women, aspirational women, how do you not see that? A few weeks ago, I spoke about, the labor unions and all the fighting that they did, and the Pinkertons, because people really don't know, like the 40-hour work week and the 5-day, work week. We had to fight for that. Like, Americans fought for that and died for that, literally, and bled for that. And how do we not see these people offering you egg freezing as all a part of what they've always done? Like I'm looking at women and I'm like, but didn't y'all say y'all was smarter than us? Didn't y'all say y'all did the work? How do you not see this? Like, forget conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat. How do you not see this as a conspiracy to keep you working these people's farms? Right? To a certain extent. Like, how do you not see that train tracks, train tracks, train tracks? How do you not see that for what it is? It's insane to me to see this and to know that they're offering you this on the front end, because how much they plan on extracting from you if you do engage in this. That's crazy to me, you know?
Yeah, it's silly. It's silly stuff. It's definitely taking advantage. Um, let me digress a bit
Mm-hmm,
to provide a larger context for a lot of this exploitation that's taking place.
mm-hmm.
So in the so this would be, what is this, 60s, 70s? What? So I think we're talking 60s when women really uh, became a force in the workplace.
Yeah, yeah, about
Sort of,
60s is when it starts.
and kind of simultaneously, we went off of the gold standard.
Oh yeah, that's 71, 73, something like that.
That's right. So simultaneously, same period, we went off the gold standard,
Mm-hmm.
and these things worked in tandem to basically rob uh, Americans, of their money.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
what they did when they went off the gold standard is they started to print money in the background and give it to their cronies. And the
Yep.
way that money works is the total amount of money that exists, the total amount, I shouldn't call it money, I should call it currency. The total
Yes.
amount of currency that exists, it's a finite amount,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you print more, you have reduced the value of the entire pile, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so so I'm sorry, the entire pile becomes this same value, but each dollar loses some value. So literally,
Mm-hmm.
by printing money, you're literally stealing from everybody. You're stealing money from everybody, not money,
Yes.
currency from everyone
Currency. You're stealing the
simultaneously.
value of the dollar by printing more of it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so simultaneously, while they're printing this money and giving it to their cronies to keep them rich and make them richer, we also went to this place where now everybody is working. So then pretty quickly, the dollar loses so much value that it requires two people to work. It used to be just one person would work. It requires two people to work. And all along, we have thought that this whole feminist propaganda and stuff, all of this stuff was really truly about empowering women and giving them the option if they want to work or not. No,
Uh-huh.
really what they
It was
wanted to
forcing
do
them
is
into the
they wanted to,
workforce.
that's right, they're forcing them into the workplace because it's going to be necessary to have both parties work, because we're going
Mm-hmm.
to rob them to the tune of about 3/4 of the value of their money.
Yes.
And
There's a
so that's no, go
no,
ahead.
no, real quick. Elizabeth Warren wrote a book about this. Back before, I think this is before she was a senator. I think it's called the two income trap. So she spoke to what you're saying right now, Doc, and this was years ago, right? Forever ago, Elizabeth Warren wrote this book. So yeah, no, exactly what you're saying, exactly what you're saying. But continue. Yeah, 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 I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So so that's actually what is, uh, that is what's animating, much of these issues. That's what kind of caused a lot of these issues, and kind of even started the whole gender war in a lot of these issues with dating and all this kind of stuff. Is
Hmm.
all stuff that the government has done to exploit, different communities, done in different ways, but still
Yep.
robbing everybody of their, of the value of their currency. Um, uh, I
I do
wanted to
think
say this
this was
real
a
quick.
real quick, Doctor. I do think when I do put my tinfoil hat on, I do agree with BGS that this was a we got to shut this ish down. Too much protest, too much tree hugging, civil rights movement, female rights movement, LGBTQ movement going on in the '60s, well, late '50s, '60s, early '70s. We got to put a shutdown to all of this. So I do think putting women in the workforce, removing the power of the dollar by printing more and more of it. All of this, and Pascal Robert calls this the 50-year counter-revolutionary movement, which is at the end of the day, what this does is it sits everyone down and it actually takes away from your ability to speak about injustice because you're actually working yourself to death, right? You don't have the time,
Ah,
um, and there's something to be said about putting women in that space also, right? So now men and women are both working 40-hour work weeks at the least. And what time do you have to actually upend whether I agree with it or not, whatever you see as not right in the system, right? And I'll just say that. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, you're saying at least two incomes. It's more like at least five incomes, because each party will have like a, yeah, each party will have their main thing, a side hustle, and then the
Hmm.
dude probably has
Yeah.
another thing on top of that. Um,
Miss
so yeah,
Dr. Thunder, you're describing me right now. You're describing me right now.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is interesting. Oh, before I took the job that I have now, and it's not like I really have less jobs now. I just have more control and more flexibility with the jobs that I have. But
Hmm. Hmm.
before I took the job, the main position that I'm in, and I'm a tenured professor at a at a big PWI. Um, and before I took that, I had five jobs. Okay, so I was an orchestra director, full time orchestra director with benefits and insurance, um, for a big school district up in Michigan. I was a part time band director in another school district. I don't even know that that was allowed. I don't even know that I was allowed to do that, because usually if you have a full time position and it's a state job, that you can't do that. And then also go get a job in another. But it wasn't a different district, and it was a charter school that I was a part time band director in. So maybe it was okay.
Alexa,
my
play
third
Rick
my
Ross. Every day I'm hustling, please, for Dr. Thunder. Go ahead, Doctor.
The third job was I had about 20 private students, and I was teaching them in my house, private lessons. The fourth job was, I was a freelance musician, you know, uh, lots of gigging, lots of, record, records, traveling for gigs, going to trade shows, all kinds of stuff, establishing relationships with different companies and stuff to represent their instruments, and all kinds of stuff, in recording and playing big tour gigs and opening for national artists and all kinds of stuff. So that was the fourth thing, and then the fifth job was I was a band director. I was a part-time band director at a church, right? So this is the sort of necessary dynamic. Um, this is the necessary dynamic. This has become normalized, and uh, I would argue that some of the supposed, or uh, some of the sort of fake honor or respect that they give people for working so much is really to cover up the fact that this shouldn't be like this. It should
Exactly.
not be this.
Exactly. Hmm.
Now, granted, I enjoy all the stuff that I do, and I would be a person that would work like that if I had to or not, but I would benefit more for it. I would benefit a lot more for the work that I put in. And of course, that's a travesty because the value of my work has been stolen from me, even before I even started working.
Yes. Yeah. That's to me.
Yeah.
That's the angle that I usually come at these things from, which is the if we're gonna have a conversation about these relationships, particularly in the black community, I I I patted myself on the back. What I attempt to do is bring in some of the macro issues to keep on painting the picture that my gripe with the sisterhood oftentimes is that what you're speaking about is actually pretty damn cowardly. You're speaking about black men in in a vacuum. You're not actually speaking about the issues that are facing black people holistically, right? You're hyper focused on Jermaine, and you're doing that on purpose because you're too cowardly to actually go at why Jermaine. And that's grant if I grant you that Jermaine or the masses of Jermaine are dusty, the masses of Jermaine are losers. I don't believe that. But I'm saying if I was to grant you that, if I was to grant that argument, you don't actually speak about what the real issue is. You make it character flaw. And what really enrages me is watching non-black women move into that space. And I'm like, black women, what are you doing? Wait, let me get this right. You're allowing these non-black women to outmaneuver you in saying, okay, no, this is a systemic issue with our boys and our men. And I really have an issue with watching black women who's supposed to be the moral center of this whole thing lose that because they're so angry at black men because they're not white women that they're losing this. We're watching white women right now. I want to be clear what everybody's watching. You're watching white women say, yeah, okay, we're done with a lot of this and we want our men to be viable mates. We want to put them in the position where if we do want to get married, that we're marrying men who are above similarly situated. They're going to call it similarly situated, but above similarly situated. And government and corporations and whoever you are, thinkers and technocrats, figure it out. And I'm watching black women not do that because they're too busy pointing the finger at Jermaine and blaming Jermaine.
Blame
My
it
issue,
out. Blame it on Jermaine.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Seriously though, that's my issue. I'm like, what? This is when Tone Talks covered all of these white folks complaining about the current environment and the financial issues. And remember, these are people that's probably going to get more money than we're going to get from our parents, right? If we're going to get anything. And you're watching them complain about the environment. And in that, Tone is pretty much saying, where are all the black people to complain? And I'm like, well, where are the black? And he covers three white women saying something and then one white man. And I'm like, yeah, the sisters ain't engaging in that because they too busy blaming Jermaine. They're not having Dr. Thunder. When I say I'm a YouTube junkie, I am legit a YouTube junkie. And when I come across all of these videos, you don't really find many black people in general, but namely black women speaking about what's going on in this economy politically and how that's going to affect even them, other black women. Okay, they don't want to talk about black men, fine. Other black women, actually what you have them saying is decenter men. You think you could decenter black men right now? First of all, you can't do it ever, but you think you could decenter black men right now with this economy? It's just insane. It's I don't even know what to say to that other than you're out of your mind, right? Yeah, I'll pause right now. I'm on a rant right now. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the math doesn't work.
At all.
Yeah, the math does not work. I was going to say this earlier,
Hmm.
so I'm sort of digressing the conversation a bit. But I have a 10-year-old son, and I'm going to tell you not to blame my son for this, but I became much more interested in these relationship conversations and in the stuff that I saw happening in the Black manosphere, just relationship dynamics, and then a lot of the just effects and impacts of the economy on Black men in particular, on Black boys. When I had a son, right, and that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense that you become more concerned about things because my personal orientation is you can't keep anything from me. I'll just outwork you, and I take it as a challenge. And regardless as to if there's a glass ceiling that I can't perceive or not, I'm gonna make it work, and you can't hold me back. And that's just the way that I'm cut. But I realize that that's not how most people are, and uh, and also most people may not be as capable, as and have the kind of career where they can have the flexibility to be able to do all of the other kinds of stuff that I do. And it just made me be a lot more kind of aware of what's going on and concerned about the prospects in the future for my son. You know, and one of the things that I have committed to, and it won't matter what the scenario is. I've said this frequently, even if I have to take a job at Burger King flipping burgers to keep this happening, he will never be in public school. He will always be in private school, 100%. It's never going to be public school through high school. And so we've got him in Catholic school. And this particular Catholic school, I'd say Catholic schools in general, it's hard to beat the education that you can get there.
Hmm.
But this particular school is, the parents are super involved. It's a real serious thing. Matter of fact, he stayed over at one of his friend's house from one of his classmates' house, and he's got a basketball game today in a couple hours. Um, with friends, they like say the Lord's Prayer before they play their games, stuff like this. So having that as part of his education, I think is great. But he's not the dominant. He's not the dominant. What am I saying? He's not the dominant race represented in the school. Put it that way.
I definitely understand. I definitely understand.
Okay, right. So, it's basically now there's a lot of other people that are at the school. There's a decent number of Black kids, but it's basically a white school that's got a bunch of other stuff. And in the area that it's in, I suspect that it'll become more Black as time goes on because of the demographics in that area. But he's a minority in the school. I'm going to tell you the way he's being socialized in the school is not is that girls are friendly and nice. Okay, that they don't make him battle for attention, and he doesn't have to have a particular kind of approach. He's not being socialized to be used to girls crap testing you even before you even talked to him. He's not being socialized around that. He's being socialized around everyone is treating people with respect, and that includes the girls. And so I'm going to tell you, when he is of age and is making some decisions about the kind of women that he wants to deal with, I think that there is a high percentage chance and likelihood that it won't be one of us. And
Ugh.
and
Yeah,
um,
I saw that coming.
and And it's and let me tell you, I mean, I grew up in a similar situation. It wasn't private school, but our family was like the only black family in the school district, you know. And I grew up the same way, and so did my siblings. Two of us chose black women, and two of us are married to white folks. My brother's married to a white woman. My sister is married to a white man actually. So it's split down the middle. And my parents are still together, you know, but it's split down the middle, and that's what happens when you make those when you have to make those choices about safety, education, and access to, a certain kind of resource, certain kind of networking and opportunities and stuff. You have to make these tough decisions as black folks in this country. And now my son still is socialized around black folks because of stuff like church and his godparents and other people that are our friends and things. But it's highly likely that he's not going to accept having to do any extra work to make to associate with, like a black girl. If she starts giving him attitude, he's going to be like, yeah, she wasn't nice. He's going to go to somebody else. So what I'm saying is they're going to have to get this together. They're going to have to get this together. If they don't get this together, they're not going to have any options.
Doc, because I wanted to speak to exactly what Attorney Dennis Sperling kind of spoke to this a little while ago, right? Maybe 8-9 months ago at this point, right? Maybe even longer than that. And I kind of lamented that, that for black people that grew up in two-parent households, nuclear families, have somewhat of a traditional mindset, whether left-leaning or right-leaning politically, the space that they're put in oftentimes puts them, in this mindset where I don't want to, or nor should I have to do this extra stuff to be appealing to other black people. And I'm namely speaking about black men, right? And it's not that black men are seeking relationship with non-black women, is that when you want a functional relationship where this woman doesn't think that she can um unwarranted sass you, be snarky, be mean, be condescending, essentially turn your home into a hyena cackle. If you do not adhere to that, you almost have no choice oftentimes but to end up with a non-black woman if you're not going to be a passport bro and go to Africa or go to somewhere in Latin America to find a woman like that. If you're going to stay in these United States, you're put in this position oftentimes. If you're not lucky and meet a black woman who is raised similar to you, if you're not lucky in that way, then you will find yourself ending up with a non-black woman. And I lament that shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I I see it. I see it with family members, right? Cousins. And it's sad to me that for the brothers that are and these are some of my cousins, their parents got divorced mad early, but they didn't want to recreate that. And guess what? They're with non-black women. The ones that came, that like my parents were still married, some of them ended up with non-black women, and on the other side, the ones that who came from households that got dismantled early on in their life and they wanted to do something different, they are also with non-black women. And it's sad, to be honest with you. Yeah. I'll pause right there. Let me read this real quick. And Toya the tutor says, hashtag love it here, right? Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, it is sad. I'm a black love. I have a particular hierarchy that I have said frequently, and at the top of it is what I call Negro love. That's black love, Negro love. That's FBA. And then the second thing is African diaspora.
That's
And
what my
then
girl did to me.
third is, yeah, then the next one is SYSBM, you know,
Hmm.
whatever, taking all comers. And then number four is passport bros,
Yep,
you know,
yep, yep.
and that's the sort of hierarchy. And without necessarily thinking it through, um, I think that has been a pretty normal process for um, Generation X in particular, black men. That has been a sort of a process. It's like, well, yeah, I'd like to have a Black American woman, because seemingly we've had the most similar experience and we have the most in common, and you know, and the same music and the same shows and X, Y, and Z. But at some point you're like, yeah, but I don't like getting cussed out for nothing, or told that, you think you can talk to me? Look at your shoes. Why you talk so proper? Look at what I'm wearing and look at what you're wearing. If you don't want to have to deal with that kind of stuff, then then maybe maybe you have to, go to the African diaspora, or
Hmm.
maybe you can find a Black American woman that grew up in a white community. I know a few of them,
Yep.
and they're very, very polite, very friendly. It's like they're white women, honestly. They're like,
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's
So they're
crazy,
totally
dog.
friendly, but then they look like, hey, BMI 3000 Reloaded in the building. My man, he heard us. He heard me say passport bros, and he was like, oh.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Super chat, better yet. Dr. Ron O'Neill, you are welcome to come up. If you want me to drop the link, I will drop the link if you want to come up. Right. Dr. Dunbar, by the way, I was meaning to say that to you earlier also. Dr. Dunbar, if you want to come up, look, the docs, if I'm able to, I will. The links are always, the chat is, well, sorry, the panel is always open to the docs. Yeah, the PhDs definitely always have a welcome space here, right? So definitely, BMI Reload. Dr. Ron O'Neill, if you want to come up, you are always welcome to come up. But I got lucky, right? I own that I got lucky, right? I was in the dating scene. When I met my lady, I was dating and this is after coming off of my monk mode, right? So I went through a full on, full stop monk mode for a couple years. And when I came back out here, after I got myself situated, and, I was not making what I'm making now, not even half of what I'm making now. But I saw the trajectory and I wanted to start dating and to see what was out there, right? And it was, I was dating a few women at the time. I don't suggest it because, ooh, my wallet, right? So it was certain. Um, but yeah, so I started dating around, and you know, my lady just stood out so much out of all the women I was dating. My lady just stood out the most, So it is very interesting because what was out there was reform same-sex loving women who are right now in the phase of dating a heterosexual man, um potheads, um what else was out there, very materialistic women, very indecisive women, like FD signifier said, there were the boss hog feminist, the boss the boss girl feminist women, and my lady just did not fit any of that. And this is once again a college educated woman, um have her head on right. Parents had been married at that time for over 4 decades, well, for 4 decades when we met, um right. And so it's just a no-brainer. You can, when I say, you can definitely tell the difference. Um it's night and day when I see the way she speaks and the way she comports herself compared to other women her same age that I worked with, excuse me, or that I was around. Um, there was no comparison. I was dating, like I said, women literally her same age, and it was just no comparison. it would, so now we've been together for a little while, and yes, the question is the question is coming soon for those of you that are wondering, right? The question's coming soon. Um, and yeah, it's just no comparison. It's absolutely no comparison. And now that we've been together for a while, every day I am reminded why I'm with her. So I understand the luck part, but that's my point. I know it's luck. When you listen to other people speak, black people, they don't think it's luck. They think all the women are like my lady, or you can make all the women like my lady if you are just true and honest as a man, and you can turn her into a wife. Man, look, I was in the dating scene, bro. You ain't turning none of these women into wives that think a certain way and move a certain way and feel a certain way, particularly about black men. You ain't, I don't care who you are. You could be
You just got a
King
man up.
Dingaling. Yeah, exactly. Ballerific, King Dingaling, you manned up, all it. Look, no, right?
Yeah,
They
you
they
just weren't enough
fundamentally
man.
have contempt.
Well,
Go
it's like
ahead,
it's like Jill Scott said in that this recent interview she did with the Breakfast Club. She said,
Mhm.
"If you can tell me what
Oh
to
yeah, I saw it.
do, then you can tell me what to do.
Then you could tell
If
me
you
what to
can't
do.
tell me
Yeah.
what to do, you can't tell me
Then you
what to
can.
do."
Yeah, what? Doc, say that again without me interrupting you. Say that again, because I was interrupting. Say that again. Say it again.
Oh yeah, yeah. She said, "If you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do."
And remember, y'all, that is Jill
Man,
Scott, our supposed neo soul African goddess, thick, cute. This is the heavy set black woman that everybody give a pass to. Everybody I know that, like, man, I don't really like black big women like that. Everybody gives Jill Scott a pass. Jill Scott does have a cute face. I'm 100 honest. She
she's
definitely is a cute face, sing like an angel. We everybody likes Jill Scott. But listen, this is Jill Scott saying that. So what do you
let me
think the
tell you.
other sisters think? Go ahead.
You you know that a long walk video.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let
Yeah,
me
let's take
tell
a
you,
long
man.
while. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, goodness gracious, she is so cute, man. And
Yep.
she was doing
Yeah.
all of that, and she's doing all of this like hyper feminine stuff, like
Hmm.
the expressions on her face and the way that she was like, the stuff that she's saying about, you know, the guy that she's with. And I don't know if you remember the way that that video goes, but basically what it is the video is taking through the perspective of a black man. The black man is that she's with, who is looking
Hmm.
at her the
Yep.
whole time, and she's walking around, or they're going through the park and stuff like this. And at the very end, they turn. It's like they turn
Doc, I don't know if that's me, but you're breaking up a little bit. Is that me, you guys, or is that Doctor Thunder?
the gaze changes from his gaze to her gaze, and you realize
Doc,
who she's
you're gonna
been
have to
looking
bring
at
that
the
back
whole
about
time.
20
Now,
seconds because you broke up a little bit.
no, I'm just saying that video. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying that video is from the gaze. It's through the perspective of a black man. So it's the one that she's dating. And so
Mm.
then she's walking around. They're going around the park, and he's looking at her the whole time. And then what happens at the very end of the video is the gaze changed from his perspective to her perspective, which
Hmm.
reveals that it was a black man that she was talking to. So all of that like feminine, extra feminine stuff that she was doing, and smiling and grinning and looking
Hmm.
cute and everything, all of that stuff was for the benefit of a black man.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, so but then when you find out how she actually is,
In real life.
nope, she ain't doing that. Unless you're the one
Remember,
that can tell her what to do.
remember there was somebody that tried to bust her and Erica Badu out years ago, right? There was a black woman that I'm getting a little bit of echo from your end, Doc. But there was a black woman that snitched that wait, let me take that back. She threatened to snitch out Jill Scott, Erica Badu, and who else? It was, I want to say it might have been someone else that occupies that kind of neo soul space, right? And Yeah, so I mean, like I said, Jill Scott, like that whole. If you could tell me what to do, then you could tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, then you can't tell me what to do. Is so stereotypical black woman. Is that every black woman to a woman? Absolutely not. But woof, that is so, and that is the way I would argue men perceive black women, not just black men, but men perceive black women. Jill Scott just said it. That's why I say the internet will expose us all. That is exactly why I say it. That's why I say let them talk. That's exactly why I said it. Because Jill Scott just told you exactly what we've been saying, right? The Black Manosphere has been saying that this is the common sentiment amongst black women, or at least that we see amongst black women, and Jill Scott just said it. And that is a rich, famous, talented black woman who's been rich and famous for at least what 2 decades now, more than that, right? More than that. So hey, there you go, right? And Doc, you could go ahead. I'll pause right there.
Yeah, and my issue with this too is, it's just like with all of this manifesting and the secret, which is remarkably similar to prosperity gospel, by the way. But my issue with all of that stuff is, it. Wait a minute, I just lost my train of thought. See, we talking about Jill.
Yeah, we talking about Jill Scott and
Oh man, I totally lost my point.
it happens.
Oh man,
It happens to me sometimes too.
that's all right. Well, here, man. Thanks for letting me come up and contribute.
Definitely, Doc. Definitely.
And I'll talk to you later. We should do another collab sometime soon.
Look, I am always open. Shout out to y'all. Look, like I said, I'm always humbled by the doctors engaging with me, and yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, Doc. Thank you for coming up.
All right, now.
All right. And everyone, that was Dr. Thunder, who just made this stream so much more enlightening and entertaining and informative, right? And his perspective is always welcomed, right? Shout out to Dr. Thunder. Yeah, that just happened, right? So, like I said, the docs are always welcome to come up. Dr. Dunbar, if you ever want to come up, just ask for the link, or and I'll definitely have you up. Once again, Dr. Ron O'Neill, definitely you. Dr. T, if you're ever listening. Dr. Green Gorilla, and just a bunch of other brothers. I know Army Osei Frimpong. I don't know if Army ever listened to me, but I'm definitely I definitely like listening to the funky academic Army Osei Frimpong. Yeah, just a number of people, right? So obviously, yeah. And y'all give me a second. And yeah, let's read this. And Kin Seeing Red says hashtag Black Manosphere versus everybody. Exactly, bro. Exactly. And it really is that. It really is that. And it's I think we already know that we're on our own, and whoever comes along, and whoever rags along. That includes other black men, that includes black women. But yeah, it pretty much is the Black Manosphere, and I don't think that we should expect it'll be great if we get 20% of men riding along with black men riding along with us, 25%, but I don't think we should expect that, right? It reminds me of FD kind of speaking and bragging about his 750,000 subscribers between 2 channels, and I'm like, yeah, the majority of men are blue pill, not just black men. The majority of men are blue pill. What are you bragging about? Keeping black men in the dark? What are you bragging about? Trying to have black men be quote unquote resilient in the face of black female effery? Right? What is there to brag? Oh, at 750,000 subscribers, most of them men, most of them black men. Okay, so you're saying black men and men are blue pill, and they would rather hear from you tell them that, yeah, those black men over there, the Black Manosphere, yeah, those are a bunch of sexist, misogynist monsters, and yeah, listen to me, so that when a black woman takes you on a foodie call and then Then she brings the food back home to the dude she's having sex with. Yeah, that you'll be resilient and you won't feel a certain way about that. What? Yeah, that's it, right? So yeah, 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 yeah. That so we are. It is the black manosphere versus everyone else. Absolutely, we can't expect the majority of men, black men even, to not even just agree with us or side with us. And you need blue pill men to maintain your society. Once again, um, but what we're doing here, I would argue, and what we're presenting here is for the benefit of black men, right? Of black men, because what most black men have been engaging in for decades now has not benefited black men and boys. Black boys not knowing how to read and math and great number, once again, is a function of black men not saying anything to black women and playing it down and doing the Dr. Umar Johnson and once again pointing the finger at black men. Jermaine's fault, right? That 21% of black men that went unemployed in 2016, once again, and no one said anything, once again, is a function of it's all Jermaine's fault and don't say anything to black women. That a third of black men being convicted felons, once again, is a function of don't say anything to black women. Because we already know, outside of that black man himself, the people that benefited the most from black men out here engaging in illicit activity are black women. All the black women attached to him, from grandma to aunt to cousins to sister to mother to girlfriend to baby mom to wife. The people that benefited the most from black men engaging in the underbelly of society and engaging in illicit activity and engaging in the alternative economy are black women. Hands down, full stop, period. But yet, those same black women did not advocate for those black men as they got locked up in mass, right? And much of that happened because, once again, black manosphere versus everyone, right? We watched as black women spoke absolutely insane about black men for at least a good 4 decades. If we're being extremely kind, if I want to start the clock at 1980, really want to start the clock in the 70s because that's when the books came out and the movies started coming out in the 80s. In the 80s and the 90s, if I want to be extremely, extremely, extremely kind, I'll start the clock at 1980. If I want to be a little bit more accurate, I could start the clock, I don't know, since the west coast of Africa. But we could start the clock at 1975 ish. If we want to be a little bit more accurate, 1970 ish. But if we're going to be kind, let's say 1980. And decades of negative propaganda, not only coming from white folks, obviously, but coming from black women. And black men really start to respond with social media and high speed internet and the democratization of media because of social media and high speed internet. And then these women, go absolutely insane. Right? They want to start the clock with Tommy Sotomayor. Right? What's that, 2009, 2010, maybe 2011? They want to start the clock over there. Right? Not at 1980, not at 1975, not at 1970, not, you know, not at 1619. They don't want to start the clock back there. Not in the 1500s. They don't want to start the clock back there. They don't want to start the clock in 1970. Excuse me, 1877. Right? Exactly. Exactly. Better you scaring the women, Z. Exactly. Right. Shout out to FD Signifier. Excuse me. Y'all scaring the hoes. Yeah, that's it. Right. They want to start the clock with Tommy Sotomayor. For some of the younger women, they want to start the clock with Kevin Samuels. Right. So yeah, it's Black Manosphere versus everyone. And once again, Ken Seeing Red, thank you for the super chat. Absolutely. Like, Lion killed me with this one. You need to be resilient and stop scaring the hoes. LOL. Exactly. Exactly. Don't speak about their bad behavior. Fine. Where are the women to speak about their bad behavior and get them in line? Oh wait, they're not. They don't exist. They don't exist. Like I said, Julesy is the one. Every once in a while, you'll hear something from T Noir, just a little teeny tiny bit, right? Nappy headed Hoba is trying to walk the fence. Kim Foster is more negative than positive, and it don't make it any better that Julesy is light skinned, so she really looking like a pick me out here. She not married, but she really looking. First of all, she's the only one that consistently says black women. I don't know. Now, does she have bad takes or something that we would consider bad takes? Absolutely, absolutely. You better believe it. But Julesy is like the only one. All the rest of them, usually, if they ever say anything, it's a blink and you'll miss it comment. Maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes on a segment said, okay, black women, look, okay, y'all being a little too, just a smidge, teeny tiny bit too loud. Right? Trell said, imitation of life, 1959. Millennial and name only says Oprah, 1986. Trell says Claudine, 1974. They want to start the clock with Tommy. Right? Right? Absolutely insane. And Nanga Oboko, Iboko, and then Oboko. What are you saying, Mr. Z? Iboko, and let me know how to pronounce that. Oh boy. Right? And he says, Dr. Thunder Tax. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Right? And shout out to Dr. Thunder for coming up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? That was a great conversation. Shout out to Dr. Thunder. Right? As I said, look, this conversation needed to be had. Shira 7, look, now white people are paying attention. And it ain't gonna be nobody white women neither. These are not nobody white people. And a Kasparian said it's horrible advice. I'm not saying she got super pull like that, but that's not a nobody, not anymore. Sink Uger is not a no one. Did he run for what? Not governor of. Did he run for governor of California? Or was it mayor of something or governor at one point? Now he ran. He kind of lightweight ran for president, right? It wasn't a real like really running. He was really running to agitate the Democratic Party, right? And to say, look, man, we can't run Biden because we will lose, right? And it's telling y'all this is horrible advice. And they made Shira 7 the face of their criticism about this dating advice coming from women to women mainly. Exactly, Indigo. Remember when Shay Sade bought her white homegirl on the show? Exactly. Laura, yep. I said it before. When white, even if white women already know y'all saying it, they really good at the poker face, right? They really good at the lying face. Whenever you put it to white people, white women, what black women are saying about black men and what black women are saying about non-black men, they always do the oh my god, really? That's what black women think? Oh my god, right? And Jake says, yo, there's a comment from a black woman on the video. White women are so hypocritical. The fact that y'all believe them, I said it. White women put a battery in y'all back. Now they starting to moonwalk because things is getting too hot. Now they point at y'all like, whose man's is this? In other words, Becky put a battery in Keisha's back to talk crap about black men. They already knew you wanted to. They already saw that you were going to. You're already doing it. But they put a battery in your back to talk crap about Tyrone. And now that Brad is starting to give them the mean mug, now they moonwalking and saying, Keisha, whose man's is this? Whose man's is this? Brad, I don't know who this is. Right? And Better Use says Crystal Ball ran for governor in her state. I think PA or something. I think it's Virginia. I think it's Virginia. I think it's Virginia. I'm not 100% sure. Y'all correct me on that, but I think it was Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Right? Absolutely crazy. So yeah, y'all are gonna keep on getting this. Y'all are too loud. I said it. Look, y'all are too loud, Chrissy. And it's not just too loud. And I should have been saying this from the beginning because nobody's going to be listening to this far in the replay. Shout out for the replay gang. If you get this far, let me know you got this far, right? Because who's listening this far on the replay? I don't know. Shout out to y'all. Thank you very much. Shout out to you, right? But I should have said it this way from the beginning. Not just too loud. Y'all are too loud and too wrong. Mr. Z, make sure you say it that way from now on. Y'all have been way too loud and wrong. You were wrong. You are wrong. It's not just about being loud. Mr. Z, why didn't you say this from the beginning? I don't know. Right? And millennial name only is speaking about Crystal Ball. He says VA or KY, Kentucky, Virginia or Kentucky. She lived in both states, if I recall. Okay. Okay. Right. Dear ladies, you were too loud and too wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Say it again, Z. You're wrong. This quote unquote dating advice is wrong. It won't work anyway. Not in this current environment. Dre said my dad used to call it wrong and strong. Right? You're wrong and headstrong. Exactly. Wrong and strong. Right? We call it loud and wrong, but wrong and strong sounds that rhymes. That sounds better. That sounds better. Exactly. Wrong and strong. Right? That's funny. I ain't even gonna read it out loud. Right? But yeah, so we're coming to a close, y'all. Look, ladies, this is not sustainable. Y'all know that's Mr. Z's tagline. Also, this is not sustainable. And I said it before, not a white woman is coming at y'all. Right? I can read this. This is funny. And Trell says, Becky battery backed big booty Keisha. Exactly. She did, though. She did. They put a battery in Keisha's back. I'm not saying, once again, we are not stripping or removing black women's agency. So whenever y'all hear me say stuff like that, please understand Mr. Z is not saying that black women should not be held accountable for what they've said and done and how they've acted towards black men. I am not saying that. That is not what Mr. Z is engaging in. What I am also saying is that white women encourage the BS. They put a battery in black women's back. White men also. What I'm saying is, what it's predictable that white women were gonna do this eventually, which is the wait, Brad, it ain't me. I don't got nothing to do with this. Not me. I don't know what Keisha talking about. That ain't me. Whose man's is this? As Dre said, wrong and strong. Black women, y'all were loud and wrong. Loud. Y'all think y'all could dance on? We're gonna end out on this because I'm emphasizing these celebrities for a reason and how black women engaged with these people for a reason. Paris Malone thinks she could go back and forth with Godfrey, the comedian. And you don't think that was gonna have repercussions eventually? Why? Because you think you outsassed him? Y'all were so damn loud. Y'all were engaging in fisticuffs on social media with celebrity and celebrity adjacent people. Y'all were calling Tina Knowles a grandmother, a mammy, because she was essentially saying black men aren't the worst thing to ever happen on planet Earth. And y'all called that woman, Beyonce's mother, a mammy. You danced on one of the most celebrated NBA players in history. You celebrated his death. You danced on his grave simply because he wasn't married to a black woman. And y'all don't think that eventually white folks were going to take notice? Let's be very clear. White folks of influence and power with a microphone weren't going to take notice. Let's say a bunch of them agree with you. You got to know there's a bunch that don't. Let's say there's a bunch of them that are like, haha, look at black women insulting black men. I love it. You got to know that there's a bunch that don't, right? So between Paris Malone going back and forth with Tina Knowles, between the way Yanni is framing this relationship between Nelly and what's her face, right? Like everybody's acting like Nelly got her pregnant, and like Nelly's refused. She tricked herself. Like pretty much like Nelly tricked her into getting pregnant. No, right? Yes, Charles Ashanti. Like Nelly tricked Ashanti into getting pregnant. No, Ashanti weighed her choices and options and said, if he don't want to marry me, but we'll have a kid together, I'll take it. Y'all have to be honest about women's agency. Yes, black women's agency, please, for the love of God. Thank you, Cheryl. They forget she's 42. When women make calculated choices, can we call it for what it is? When women weigh their options, Ashanti could have came back here and been single and tried to mingle. Wait a minute, Z, she did that already. It didn't turn out right, and she went right back to Nelly. Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah. Cheryl said actually 43. Ashanti's actually 43, right? So can we start having an honest conversation now? Now that the white folks, white women, are putting a microphone on black women and all of the insane stuff they're saying on the internet, on social media, right? And ending out like I was saying. So between Paris Malone going back and forth with Godfrey, between Yanni insulting civil rights leaders, and between Yanni framing the relationship between Nelly and Ashanti like Nelly is preying on Ashanti, and like Ashanti's helpless and hapless, like she doesn't have her own sense of self, right? Between the Chrissy, Yanni, Paris, Lexus Exodus, Mahogany Pink, Cynthia G, Divested Zealot minions going at whatever her name is, Nicole. Well, better yet, going at Taylor Swift because Travis Kelsey is now dating Taylor Swift. Why did y'all think eventually that white folks of influence and note weren't going to say something eventually? Dear black women on the internet, on social media, why did you think that wasn't going to happen eventually? And what that would mean for you, right? Yeah, 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 I'm Wolf. Yes, and I'm Wolf says, hold up, hold up. Paris got into it with Godfrey the comedian. Where was I for this? Yeah, I told y'all they've been loud as hell on the internet. They've been loud. When I tell y'all these black women have been loud as hell on the internet, they've been insulting black people, non-black people. They've been loud. Absolutely I guess they thought that eventually that no non-black people would ever hear, and if non-black people heard, it would only be what these racist non-black people that be like, oh yeah, 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 black women, yeah, right on, my sister, yeah. Yeah, you're right. These conservative, really right-wing, reactionary, racist dudes would be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He should work to death to provide you a lifestyle. Yeah, right on, sister. Right? You're right. Black men are immature and they don't want to take responsibility for the community, for the black community, and for doing right by black women and doing right by black children and marrying black women. Yeah, you're right. Right on. Y'all thought it was only those white dudes and white women that are gonna be listening to y'all, huh? You thought wrong, right? You thought wrong. Now I'm in the comments of TYT. Talk about everybody's trying to quiet black women. You sound, oh boy. See, they're telling you you sound crazy. They're telling you you sound delusional because you sound crazy and you look delusional because you might be. Charleston, indubitably, my sister. Right? Exactly. Right? So on that note, everyone, we'll pause right here. We over 3 hours and 15 minutes. Once again, thank you to Dr. Thunder for stopping by. Thank you to Dr. Dunbar for being in the comments. Thank you to Dr. Ron O'Neill for being in the comments. Oh my God, I am humbled. I am truly humbled, like truly, truly humbled. Thank you to Better You and all of you brothers, all of y'all, right? Everyone, because like I am super humbled, and I've been on for 3 hours, right? Thank you very much. I am humbled by the fact that y'all listen to me, of all people, right? Um, number one, number two, Shira. Hey, but the lady too damn arrogant. She first of all, she ain't listen to me. I was gonna tell, hey, reel some of that back, reel all of it back, reel some of that back. But you could tell. Look at her face. What about Shira Seven's face make you think she listened to anyone that air? Look, we spent the whole video not going at anybody's neck. We didn't make any ad hominem attacks. Maybe we did. Let's end that on a good note. Let's Z. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's too easy. Don't do it. Chimbagas. Mm. Okay, there we go. Anyway, it's in the description box. Better you says TYT did a story about dating recently. Check the description box. Check the description box. Description box is Z. Jesus Christ, right? Um, and on that note, everyone, look, I said it. The internet will expose us all. I said it. Let them talk. And here you go. Right? Did she? Okay. And Cheryl says I think she had a stroke. Her face has a palsy. Okay. Okay. Then definitely can't make fun of her if that's the case. Definitely can't. Right. But if it's not, boy, Mrs. Z got jokes. Ooh, I got jokes. Right. Right. So on that note, we will pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content for the love of God. FD Signifier told us to go touch grass because apparently we don't have life outside of social media and the internet, apparently. Um, yeah, y'all don't have girlfriends and wives and kids and lives and Dr. Thunder was just here and guess what he's gonna go do? He's gonna go to his son's game, right? So, there's that. Because apparently we don't touch grass. We don't go outside. Yawn. Anyway, so y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day. I don't know what the hell these people be talking about. Shout out to TYT for covering Shir 7 and whoever. We might, like I said, we might have a part 2. I might even have a panel about this. What is today? Saturday, maybe Monday afternoon. We'll see. We'll see where Mr. Z is at with it. Yeah, because I I'm not saying the tide is turning. That is not what Mr. Z is saying. But the exposure of this type of rhetoric, I don't think it bodes well for Black women, rightfully so, on the internet. I said it. Y'all wanted to shout out to Kim Foster. Y'all wanted to call white zaddy on us, right? Y'all wanted to call white zaddy on us, dear Black women. You thought that the alphabet boys were going to investigate us and get at us and rip the Black manosphere to shreds and would expose us maybe, or whatever you thought, whatever you felt and hoped would happen. Well, now look, be careful what you wish for, right? Anubis over here throwing it in our faces that he's in Colombia right now. Look, I don't need you bragging about how you in Colombia enjoying your life. Right? And Anubis says, Ish, I'm in Colombia running from the heat. Look at him bragging about how he having fun in Colombia. Look, this humble brag. Right? With the senoritos. Look at Anubis humble bragging. Right? Pensive to salute to Anubis. Right? And on that note, everybody, y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out. All right, everyone. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day.